It is a bit of a mixed batch, but on the whole, I enjoy it.
When it hit that prison one, when we break that prisoner,
Oh,
that's when I was like, actually, I quite like
the
this.
one with Bill Burr and his
Yeah.
other.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it me? Did that episode feel so much like a kind of fucking D&D campaign?
It did. It really did.
It's so weird. It's got all the characters and they're just up to wacky quests.
What are you talking about?
The Mandalorian.
Oh yeah, I need to watch some of that.
Mando. Right, bitches, we're here.
Hello.
And this is session 4, and it's been 2 weeks since the last one. Last session did some sweet stuff. Bungo stepped forward to face down the Dark Knight, the Dark Champion on the bridge. Some mysterious things going on. Atala's had some back and forth with what she's doing with her mysterious little box, which in time will turn out to be the first ever Rubik's Cube.
Please don't phrase it like that.
Fiddling with her box nightly. And you confronted, finally, the trio that you were so suspicious about and brutally murdered them, as is your one. Keeping everyone safe and sound in the caravan. You finally reached the very outskirts of Mirabar, and in fact, a few hundred feet outside of Mirabar itself. You can see Mirabar in the distance. It's squat buildings and high walls with the River Mirar running in front of it. You have to cross a bridge to get to it. But for the moment, you have arrived and taken root, a well-deserved sit-down, warm fire, nice drink in the Sundered Stone Inn. What? I do believe. Food's on the way. Drinks have been ordered.
Who's Sven the workman?
Down. Who's Sven?
I just got it written down on my notebook and I don't remember who that is.
Sven was the guy with the caravan where I was like, no one's asked his name, and you were like, I'll ask his name. It's like, it's Sven.
Oh, yeah. Vaguely remember that.
He's not here because he's gone off with Gildred.
Yeah.
Submarching Gildred Forgefire. I have rearranged a la Kieran the journal and stuff to hopefully work a little bit better.
Ooh, cool.
So everything's been rearranged for you guys. Thank you, Kieran, for making me better at DMing.
No problem. Sorry.
That's cool.
So, you find yourself, it's still early to mid afternoon. You've kind of said to yourselves that you're going to spend the rest of the day here and a well-deserved rest. Grace is sat around the table with her Bahamut's pilgrims, just discussing. Bungo just had a brief conversation with Verenia Sunderston and the son of Submarchian Gildred Forgefire, Dagon Forgefire. If there's anything you'd like to do, if there's anywhere you'd like to sit, if there's anything you'd like to discuss, please do so.
Did you say Verenia owned this inn? Did we establish that?
Yes. So when you spoke to Eris, the Marblebrow, the barkeep, she said, well, I don't think she said directly, but she implied, one, that this place is owned by the Sunderstons, which seems clear that it's called the Sunderstone Inn, and two, that Verenia is the one that's here the most often, and seems to take an active interest in things.
Okay. Thank you.
That's alright.
Shit, I actually really like the new journal. It's good.
It does.
Thank you.
I can see bead.
I thought you meant Kieran had sorted it out, and he's like, yeah, I really like it now.
That would have been great, though. Oi, Kieran, sort the journal out.
What about all the planning? Nah.
I did so much planning today. I'm very happy with it all. Although inevitably I didn't do what I initially wanted to do, but there we go. But yeah, it's a warm fire. Points of interest for you. There are some locals already starting to drink the day away. Various dwarves.
Did you put my adventurers table on?
Adventurous table?
That I made for you.
Ah, fuck! I forgot. Sorry.
It's okay.
I will do that next time. But Natalie, thank you, Natalie, made an amazing title adventurer's table for us to use. See, this is classic. Do so much stuff, just not the stuff you meant to do at the start, because that was one of them. But there we go. That'll be there next week. Yeah, points of interest. Got some locals. Verenia and Dagon do seem to be keeping a keen eye on you all. Verenia more than Dagon. There's an interesting setup. Looks a bit confusing. Near the hearth fire, kind of Atala would be the nearest at the moment, up in this top left corner, where there's a shelf with a number of iron bars kind of poised in various jumbled states on top of it, and some in a big trough underneath. But apart from that, it's a friendly inn. The fire crackles. The smells of food as Granny Marblebrow cooks your orders up.
What time
What
of
would you
day
like to
is
do?
it?
It's early afternoon still.
Yeah, I think Sandra will just be having all the snow melt off her by the hearth, and just sort of relaxing. Like, long journey, nice hot fire. Yeah.
It is lovely, crackling away.
No, I don't think Bungo would be doing an awful lot different. It's been a pretty long journey.
Of course.
Tom,
Yes.
please tell me that music isn't what I think it is.
Maybe. Maybe not. You're making me think back to where I got it from.
Is that the music from Shrek?
Oh, no.
It sounded like
it-
the music from Shrek.
It's not. It'll be some version of some Michael Gelfie thing.
Lies. Muting myself again now.
Now that it's not Shrek related, you mute yourself once more. But yeah, sure. You sit on the comfy bar stool. Sandra's warming her boots as the snow melts, drips off, soon evaporating under the fire's crackling glare.
What time,
Time
did
wears on.
What time did we say it was again?
Early afternoon.
Early afternoon. Okay.
Gray would have probably just wandered around the place, making it look like he's interested in the place and just looking around at the furnishings and whatnot. But he would have probably been keeping an ear out to just overhear what this lot and maybe even this lot, if he hears any particularly interesting chatter.
Make 3 perception checks, please.
Oh, okay. All right, if
I
we
will
do.
take them in the order you clicked. So
Okay,
locals,
them.
Bahamut,
Okay.
big shots.
All right. 1.
You know, with these obviously these raised areas.
Yeah.
Is one of them higher than the other, or are they the same height?
They are all the same height.
Okay.
So locals for. Oh, sorry, Kieran, go ahead.
But there's nothing like blocking people walking up to say that one, right?
No, not at all. You can go and claim that table by all means.
Okay.
Locals. God, 17 already. You'd hear grumblings about work, jokes made about skiving off work. You would probably hear a few bits and pieces talking about different submarchians, the Council of Sparkling Stones. You would hear the 17. You'd hear some grumblings about barges going missing, trade barges sent down the River Mirror towards Luskan, going missing, and they're not sending any more barges, and it being bad for work. Grumble, grumble. But yeah, the tone is a bit of grumbly on the outside, but they're enjoying each other's company and drinking away. Yeah. From the Bahamut group, Grace, Anya, is there anything you would be saying in particular to your pilgrims?
No, not necessarily. Should just be waxing lyrical about Bahamut.
Yeah. So you hear little tales and little sermons. They're all chipping in, and there's definitely a feeling of deference towards Grace herself.
I let Bahamut punch me in the face once. It was awesome.
And Father
Right.
Father Wright would probably be dozing off already at this point. He's had a tough old trip so far. But yeah, they all seem friendly with each other. I think there probably would be a bit of unease as well around what happened with the masked people. I think, Grace, you'd probably be getting a few questions from your flock, from your pilgrims, concerning the masked people. No, I know, but they're because you're the guide and the leader here.
Oh, okay.
For them, they're just kind of like, oh, what was going on with them? And then you can just respond with, or Bahamut will show us the truth eventually, or whatever you'd like to respond with. But yeah, nothing new there, I don't think, Gray. Annoyingly, you rolled ridiculously high with the guys up here. Okay, you'd hear a few things. A constant, and probably annoying constant to you, kind of eavesdropping, would be Dagon just intermittently complaining about his father's leadership in the Forgefire family. How all his decadence and gaudy choices and generous tips he gives to everyone are slowly draining the bank of the family down.
That was Gildred, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. You'd probably also note with a 24, so kind of looking over as well as listening in. You'd note that Verenia is listening intently, and with her use of just little snippets, it almost seems like she's kind of goading him on that point a little bit, trying to rile him up, alongside kind of inserting bits about the Sunderston family supporting Dagon, thinking he'd be a great Submarchian, little bits and pieces about the Forgefire and the Sunderston family being worthy of their council seats, whereas some of the other non sort of historied family members being less worthy. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, because I personally don't fully understand the hierarchy of the Marchians and everything. Would Gray know that? Is that something only local, that applies locally?
Yeah, I don't think Gray would know, but he's more than welcome to ask people.
Yeah, he might ask the barmaid.
Yeah. She would explain to you, don't need to RP it out, she would explain to you that there's a very clear hierarchy in Mirabar. And in fact, it's written down. So
Even
I'll read
better.
it to you. Learning local law.
But
So-
I don't know what Marchian is exactly. I've never heard that before.
So the Marchian is a hereditary seat, kind of like a king being passed down through a family.
Okay.
But the king, kind of like the UK, is more of a figurehead position for the city. Though technically in charge, it's actually the Council of Sparkling Stone
Okay.
stones that really do the work, and they are elected.
Yep.
From her, you'd find out that there are 7 total Submarchians on the council. Would you inquire as to their names and such?
Why not? Why not? If she's willing, yeah.
Make a persuasion check, please.
Oh.
Yeah, she kind of clams up a little bit as you push slightly further. I'd say.
I mean, even that is informative enough. It's like,
Yeah, she would proudly tell you of the Sunderston family member that's a Submarchian, Varandet Sunderston, the patriarch of the family. I'll add that in. And probably... Yeah, with a 4, I think that's where it'd stop. But yeah, she'd tell you there are 7 in total. So you now know 2. Gildred Forgefire, head of the Forgefire family, and Varandet Sunderston, father of Verenia.
Wait, what was their name?
Varandet Sunderston.
So there's a Varandet, but also Verenia.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of Varan.
Oh, yes.
And we haven't met or seen Varandet yet.
No.
That's the father of... what's his name? Dagon?
Gildred is the father of Dagon, yeah.
Oh, Gildred's his father. Who's Varandet the father of them?
Verenia, who's over here.
Verenia. Right, yeah.
Who, yeah.
Right.
The Sunderston family owns this inn.
If Bungo was to ask the barmaid, because he was told about like the central plaza for like places to buy like incense and herbs and stuff, but if he were to ask her like more of a kind of regular citizen than the Submarchian, like where would she recommend like maybe like individual shops that might be worth a look?
Mm-hmm.
So like
The first...
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, that's all right. I think she would jump on that a little bit, feeling slightly uncomfortable with Gray's inquiry about the higher-ups. She would jump on your question as an opportunity to tell you about the Sunderston's store, Sunderston Exhibitions, where they sell everything you could need for expeditions, not exhibitions, going north. So clothing, both magical and mundane, different tools. They also have magical arms and armor. If you pressed on sort of reagents and things like that, she would direct you to the human-run shop, which is on the surface city called Full Pockets.
Full Pockets.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
That's all right. But yeah.
Sorry, I'm diligently taking notes.
Not at all, not at all. I have made lots of things which can be noted. The afternoon would start to wear on. Unless anyone's doing anything else, you would see probably half an hour to an hour into the your city around and getting yourselves comfortable. A couple of the locals would head over to the shelf near where Grace is sitting. And you'd see them take out these iron bars from their own satchels, stand a certain distance from the shelf, and try and underhand toss the bars up onto the shelf itself. And there's lots of cajoling and punching of each other's arms as they're tossing them.
Oh, yes, I remember this game.
How cool.
They both take out 3 bars each. 2 of the bars end up in the trough underneath, and the other 4 end up on the shelf, and the shelf rattles each time a bar lands on it. You can see there's many, many iron bars now on this shelf, but it just stay up there, and the 2 look defeated as they head back to their seats, much to the jeering and cheering of the 2 other locals nearby.
It's like when you do the basketball hoops at the arcade.
No Cold Falcon.
Not Cold Falcon, no.
What time is it then? Would the shop still be open at this time, or is it quite late?
It's mid, cresting into late afternoon. No, probably still mid-afternoon now. You could try and get into Mirabar proper. The shops, you don't know. If this were Neverwinter, shops would still be open, yeah?
I think Bungo wants to wait till the following morning. But, like, he's in a hurry, but he's also keenly aware that we can't overdo it. We're going somewhere pretty dangerous.
Yeah, fair enough. Save some time in the morning. If Bungo doesn't want to go shopping, then I think Atala would ask about like a library, if there's a library anywhere.
She asking the barkeep.
Mm-hmm.
The barkeep would tell you that books aren't that often seen or highly prized in Mirabar itself. The only person she can really imagine keeping a significant store of books that aren't just on stoneworking, steelworking, so on, is perhaps the Submarchian Gildred Forgefire, as he likes to splash his cash and have every sign of wealth that he possibly can, and in a place where timber's actually quite difficult to come by, and books aren't as easy to come by, having a stocked library is a big sign of wealth.
Which guy's that? Is that this guy over here?
It's his dad, the one you guys travelled with on the wagons.
He's the
geezer.
old
Is he
guy.
in here?
He's not here now.
Yeah,
He's headed back into the city.
He was the friendly old man. You remember him?
yeah. I just can't remember what token it was. So
He had
Oh,
coins
shit.
in his beard.
Glasses. He looks like the dad in American Pie. Or at least his eyebrows.
Eugene Levy. Does look like Eugene Levy.
It's dwarven Eugene Levy, and that's what he looks like, Hannah, if you can see him next to Atala.
yeah, I see him. That's alright. If he's not here, then I won't. Just sit down next to Bungo. That's
Yeah,
it.
I think with all of you like asking Eris different questions, different points, she would kind of say to the three of you, Bungo, Atala, and Grey, sat at the bar, that if you're interested in having a go on the bars, just let me know. You'll be needing them if you're heading into Mirabar itself, anyway.
Oh, we will?
Aye, yeah. Coins accepted here under orders of Verenia herself, but should you want to trade or do business in Mirabar properly, you'll need Mirabar currency. And she reached under the bar and heaves up a wooden box, opens it up, and inside are, in fact, it'd be a stone box. Inside are orderly arranged iron bars, about 30 centimeters long each one.
How much
Oh, so
do
that's
you
what they were throwing up in that. No.
Yep.
How much do you have to trade?
Each bar's 5 gold in equivalent. We used to be that outsiders would pay a bit of a premium, but under Verenia's orders, we're to give fair trade, bars for gold.
How many do you have?
Oh, my dear, in store now, maybe 200-300, but Verenia will make quick work of getting more out here if more trade is to be done.
Oh, it's gonna be quite costly for my stuff, is the only thing I'm thinking.
Sandra would run over.
Yeah,
She'd be like, "Can I have one, please?"
of course. 5 gold.
Yeah, she'd give it. She's like, "I just want it as a souvenir." And she
Of
goes and
course.
sits back down next to the fire.
Yeah, it's this perfectly shaped,
How
kind
much?
of like an ingot, but
Sorry.
stretched, longer and thinner.
How much
but
do each
similar
of
in
these
shape.
weigh, Tom?
The iron bars, more than coins would.
Yeah.
And say, are we doing weight stuff with currency?
Well,
I
yes.
have been that.
and no. Bungo does have a handy haversack, so that
Yeah.
helps a lot with that situation. Certainly the bars will be difficult to move around.
Okay, so how much would a bar weigh, would you say?
I'm so rubbish with pounds. I know 20 coins or 50 coins is a pound. Iron bar.
Kieran
It's only a
probably knows.
ruler.
20 millimeters, 2.7. But where's the other ones?
I'd say £2 per bar. So if you converted your whole coin purse over, you'd be absolutely stranded.
Yeah. Well,
She'd
if
jokingly
Bungo,
tell you that people in the city often have carts carting around their currency.
if Bungo were to would he say that there was like very little chance that most would trade in regular coin within the city?
She'd say if you can get in nice with Verenia, it might be that you could do a good trade business using coin at the Sunstone expeditions, and also she could be your middleman, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Like, she would guarantee the purchases, so you could still use coin in the shops, and they could then go and exchange the coin for bars with Verenia or the Sunderstone family.
And if Bungo were to inquire about any wagons, that seems stupid. Like someone's just gonna fucking steal a wagon overnight.
Yep.
Yeah, I think in that case, Bungo would probably go talk to Verenia and ask her if they would be willing to front their coin, like you said.
Okay, you gonna head on over? Just
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, I think he's already approached them once, so.
Yeah. She'd say, "Greetings again."
Hello, sorry to bother you both again, but I was speaking with, your fine barmaid over there, and, she informed me that I've not been to Mirabar before myself, and the currency's, different here, and she was, well, she implied you may be able to be a point of contact for us if we were to front some coin.
Ah, interesting. I think that's why I chose Eris for here. She's got an entrepreneurial mind. Yes, that could be done. You have to understand, though, that incurs some cost on my end.
I think that's
It's already
more than
that
reasonable.
that other powers in the city are unhappy with how we trade one for one with outsiders.
Of course. Well, I think we'd be more than happy to pay a finder's fee. It would save us lugging around a wagon full of iron bars.
Yes, you might be treated to a sight of some less wise outsiders with just that inside. I once saw a nobleman from Neverwinter with a string of 20 servants, each lugging 20 bars on their backs, wandering around.
I have to say, it seems awfully inefficient.
It's more of a... And she kind of glances over at Dagon. It's a point of pride. You have to understand we're quite far north here, away from the bigger cities on the Sword Coast. We're an industrious people, and we take great pride in what we make.
Of course, I did not mean to offend.
No, you haven't at all, but the solid iron bar in your hand rather than the dainty coins of other cities is a reminder of what we do, and to be proud of it. But without being rude myself, I'm not so interested in your coin, Bungo Goodbarrow. Are these... As she sort of glances around the room, pointing with her glance, are these all your companions and friends? You travel together?
Aye, this is true.
This one looks like he could fell the walls of Mirabar itself if he really put his mind to it.
I'm quite certain he could.
Would you... Have you been on dangerous travels before?
He would nod.
Slain dangerous beasts?
On occasion.
Only you knew.
Then I would have a different proposal for you. If you'd like to take a seat.
Of course. He'll sit down. opposite
She
her.
smiles, looks over at Dagon. Dagon, perhaps you might find something else to fill your day with? Dagon kind of frowns at you, Bungo, but grumbles, gets up, slams back the rest of his drink, and slightly unshakily wanders off. Goodbye. Out of the inn. He turns back to you and smiles. Are you the leader of your group?
I don't know about that, but I think we all do our bit.
What I mean to ask is, should you and I agree on a proposal, a deal, will the rest of your companions feel obliged to honor it?
That's a good question. I think they are very much of their... I think they trust my opinion. I can say that much. And they are honourable
Okay.
folk. But they
Okay.
are... I will also warn you, they are very much of their own minds and their own opinions. Should they believe that I'm in the wrong dealing with yourself, then that is their prerogative.
I see. Not a problem. You can simply take my proposal to discuss with them once you've heard it. See, things haven't been always easy for my family here. It might look impressive that we have our lovely little inn, and I hope that you will get to see the splendor of our Sunderston Expeditions store in the Undercity, where I can't quite imagine you'll be allowed. We have Sunderston Stone and Steel Works. But, well, every family, as proud as it might be, has the occasional black sheep. My brother took a ill-fated expedition north into the mountains. Expeditions are normal here in Mirabar. You have to prospect for rich veins of ore and gems, and then bring equipment to mine. He was trusted with just such an expedition. It was an effort of my father to bring him better into the family business and into shut, Kieran, into the good light of public opinion in Mirabar. However, my brother was not seemingly up to the task. He would call it a great accident, but I'm sure he had something to do with it. At any rate, a lot of equipment, valuable equipment, was left behind, and he didn't return with any useful information concerning prospecting, surveying in the area. My proposal is this. You head north. I assume, since you're accompanying Grace, you have some business either here in Mirabar or further north, and your abilities as a group allows you to head in that direction. She kind of looks expectantly at you.
That is correct.
Good. Seeing as you are heading north, I would ask a few things of you and your group. If you could survey the current state of the ill-fated expedition to the mountain of Eastfang, where my brother took his group. This will be done in good faith, and all you need to do is agree to this, and I will happily support your expedition with all you could possibly need for a journey of 2 weeks into the mountains themselves. This includes supplies, tools, rations, clothing, everything, as well as some minor healing potions. Should you wish for more powerful magical means, that can be a further discussion, but this would be done free of cost and supplied by Sunderston Expeditions. However, the second point I would like you to consider is, during your survey of the mining site itself, should you find any equipment or trace of my brother's ill-fated expedition, please bring it back here to Mirabar, and any equipment brought back will be rewarded with 1,500 gold pieces in easily used currency for each of you. And then finally, arguably most valuable to me and my family, during your expedition, should you find any sign of... She kind of stops in her speaking and stares into you, Bungo. I don't suppose you've yet heard of Froststone or Froststeel ore?
I don't think Bungo would have, right?
No, I don't think so.
No, you would say no then. I'm afraid not, my dear.
Okay. There is a special type of stone, and often contained within the stone is small amounts of an ore. I am very interested in this ore. It is quite easily recognizable, though difficult to uncover in the snowy landscape. I'll give you directions on this should you agree. But should you find this, all I ask is that you mark the site carefully so that it can be found by a future expedition of our own, and that upon return to Mirabar, you give this information to myself exclusively. Should you do this, I will gladly provide you with a full set of Dwarven Plate, a very rare magical item, and you will have the full backing and support of the Sunderston family, even perhaps permission to enter the Undercity, and each of you will receive a reward of 7,500 gold pieces. Should you agree to all three of these elements of my proposal, I would also grant you, starting from now, a 20% preferred customer discount at Sunderston Expedition Store.
It's a very generous offer. However, I do not wish to be the one to disappoint you, but I believe we are on quite a time-sensitive expedition ourselves.
But weren't we going to Eastfang?
I don't think we've said we're going to Eastfang.
You don't even know what Eastfang is?
No, I
Yeah,
think
we do, because you did that thing on the boat.
we only know.
Oh, the
And-
visions?
Yeah.
Yes, but I don't believe you know the name of it?
No, and I only
Or
think
did that come up?
I think we only know the name from
I thought
something.
we did Legend or.
No, I don't think it was. I think it was through Legend Lore, perhaps. Yeah, but I don't think it was anything specific to our journey, because our journey is still to find Kadra.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's fine.
Don't forget that.
Upon saying that, she would smile. This whole time, she would have had warmth in her face, though she speaks in a business-like manner, and she has very, with your passive insight, Bungo, very intelligent eyes. There is
Yeah,
this
she-
constant veneer of good business and warmth. She would reply to that and say, of course, it is a simple proposal. Might I ask, if you are heading north, whereabouts you are heading to? Is it that you will pass?
Can I do an
Pass
insight
Eastfang?
check
Of course, yeah, go
to
ahead.
see if it's purely just from that she's just looking to hire us for money, or maybe there's something. I think before it was just something very business, but that particular question kind of seems very probing to me.
Of course.
I got a 2, so
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, difficult to read. There's just
Yeah.
this. To call it a mask would be unfair, as she does a very good job of seeming genuine, sincere. That's how she seems to you. You don't sense any ulterior motives or anything.
And I don't think
along those
Bungo is an
lines?
untrusting person.
Yeah.
As much as he's probably bit him in the arse before, I think he always wants to see the best in people.
Yeah.
I think he would tell her that we are headed to Mount Archelon.
Ah, well, forgive me if I'm being presumptuous. Having travelled from further south, you may not be aware of the local geography. Eastfang, the mountain my brother travelled to, is just to the east of Mount Archelon, across the White Wing Bridge. If you are to ascend Mount Archelon, The bridge is there available to you on the ascent or descent. I'm happy for any of this to take place within the 2 weeks I provide, or that could even be negotiated further.
I think Bongo frowns and
Perhaps you might like to discuss this with your companions. You said you didn't want to assume their responses.
I think that is probably best. I appreciate the offer, though.
Of course, and just for inquiring, please. And she kind of looks over to Eris, who seems very sensitive to Verenia's signals, and looks up, and she calls out and says, "Eris, give the group a free round of Sink the Shelf on me." And Eris nods. "All right, milady."
Thank you, madame.
It's a little game we have here. You might have seen some of the locals playing it over at the shelf there.
I did, thank you. I'm sure my friends will enjoy partaking.
I'm glad.
Yeah, and he'll sort of gesture goodbye for now, and then try and gather everyone up around this sort of table.
Of course. Sandral and Blam, are
Yeah,
you...
she's gonna sit on a logs.
Yeah, I think.
Blamethy boy?
Hmm?
Your opinion is needed.
Yes,
Bungo's about to tell you some stuff.
I'll go sit with Bongo.
Yeah, there we go.
I was speaking with Verenia Sunderston, the woman who owns this inn. The Sunderston seem quite a powerful family within the city, and they have offered us I suppose a series of quests. And he would explain the nature of what she said. I'm not going to go over it.
Yep, if anyone wants to reread
detail.
it, it's now in your journals under Mirabar, Quests, Verenia Sunderston, Northern Expedition.
Obviously the rewards are very generous, and we would not be travelling too far from this particular place. I will go ahead and say it. My opinion is that this is personally not of interest to me. Maybe a long time ago, but
Couldn't we just do it on the way back? They're fronting us all the stuff.
it's true. That's why I'm asking everyone's opinion. My personal opinion is that Lyra is guiding me towards Mount Archelon to speak with Kadra, and that is, I do not wish any distractions. But
Get him back and then do it on the way back. They're providing everything for us to go up there.
I think that's an excellent point. However, my only opinion on that, Sandra, and I don't wish to. I think your opinion is very valid, and my worry is that my time speaking with Lyra is made me feel that whatever has happened to Jorek, I do not know how long this will take, and I do not wish for any distractions. I do not wish to. Also, I'm not the type of person who wishes to let someone down on a business deal, and
It's okay, dear. I actually agree with Sandra. Got my accent. What's my accent?
howdy!
Eldritch Blast.
Eldritch Blast. I don't know if this is on a time schedule for Verenia, but you can always ask her.
I think she said like 2 months, right? But we can negotiate up.
She said
2
she
weeks,
will
sorry.
provide things for 2 weeks, but she is very open to negotiations for things being longer, yeah.
Well, she can provide for 2 weeks, but you can give her a time frame we think it might be. If you think it's going to be longer, Bongo, then negotiations.
We'll have to commune with Lyra, I bet. Like I said, I'm perfectly willing for us. I mean, if everyone else wants to do this, then I'm on board. But
I agree that it's not a priority. But if we find that Jorik is okay and everything's all fine, then it's something to do on the way back.
Bungo sighs quite heavily, and
Yeah.
he says, you take one step out the door and you just get caught up in the stroll, don't you?
That's what we're here for, isn't it? Adventure. And of course, Jorik.
I'm here to find Jorik. I do not know if I have much more adventure left in me, Sandra, at my age.
It'd certainly save us some money, Bongo, and perhaps we can spend more on some of that things you use for life saving, you know? Diamonds and such.
As per usual, dear, you are the practical thinker, and you're right. We do need gold if this mission is as dangerous as I suspect it may be, and as Lyra has led me to believe, and the dreams I have had, then gold or iron bars, and he's going to try and chuck one of the iron bars into the little basket as he says it.
Oh, is he doing it from where he's sitting?
He is doing it from where he's sitting.
Okay, so you've got the shelf, and then you've got like this big, heavily reinforced basket underneath, so that it can catch the iron bars. Is he just chucking it into the basket?
Yeah, he's going for the easy
Just
shot.
directly above Blan.
There's a little bit of space. The map isn't
Okay.
perfectly representative.
Whoa.
Go ahead and make a dexterity check.
10.
10's enough to get in the basket. You toss it. These are the bars that I'm assuming you collected from Eris, the free round.
Yes, the free round,
Yep.
yeah.
You toss it in, and you hear a little bit of laughter from over here. And one of the dwarves calls out, he's like, "Oh, thanks, outsider!" And Eris kind of bustles over to you, and she's like, "Oh, sorry, I should have explained. There's rules to the game, and you just increased the payout." And she would take a moment to explain the game to Bungo and everyone who sat there. I'll add it to your journals.
Gambling's a bit beyond me.
She would smile and give you a pat on the shoulder and just say, "I'll get you a drink on the house."
Thank you. It's very kind.
So for Sink the Shelf, it's very simple. You're trying to toss iron bars onto the shelf. Any bars that fall into the basket below are kept in the game. Any bars that land on the shelf are kept in the game. Bars that fall elsewhere can be reclaimed by the tosser. So if you chuck it on and it falls onto the floor, not the basket, you can pick it up and give it another go. The shelf itself is deliberately loose in its fixing. Who knows how many bars are needed to get it to sink. Once the shelf sinks, topples down, all bars in the basket below are claimed by the tosser that sank the shelf. Rule number 1, be a decent tosser. Any foul play and you'll be out in the cold. Rule number 2, bars must either be traded for directly at the bar, standard 5 gold pieces mirror bar exchange, or bars owned by the tosser can be inspected by Eris herself at her leisure. Yours were provided on the house from Verenia. Rule number 3, stand in the toss spot to do your tossing. Tossers tossing elsewhere will be out in the cold.
You had such a fucking great time writing this, didn't you?
I really did, yeah. I showed it off to Anya before. Rule number 4, any bars left in the basket at closing time become property of the inn. The house always
Interesting.
wins. Bars still on the shelf, though, will remain on the shelf. And that's it.
Okay.
Wait, so you just keep tossing them until the shelf breaks?
If you want to keep buying more bars, yeah.
Okay. Can we assess how many bars are currently up there? Or is the basket like too high?
Oh, no, you can look. In the basket, because the guys were playing it before, the 4 ended up... No, 2 ended up in the basket, 4 ended up on the shelf. So 2... There's 9 in the basket currently, and on the shelf there's 4 plus the original. There's 8 on the shelf currently.
So what was the difference between ones that land in the basket and ones that land on the shelf?
Ones in the basket you don't get to reclaim. They stay there, but if you win the game, you get the ones in the basket.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, at closing time, which you imagine probably isn't that late this far north, the house, the inn, claims any iron bars in the basket. Ones in the shelf remain on the shelf to continue the game the next day.
Ah, right, gotcha.
Yep. So you all have a single bar. Feel free to use it or not. Eris apologizes for interrupting. Having explained the rules, she bustles back and gets Bungo a drink.
Can I do an investigation on the shelf?
Sure. Do you want to finish the conversation with Bungo first?
No, matters. Yeah, alright then.
Yeah,
But I think yeah.
Bungo would look around to Grey and Blam and says, opinions? Or what do you think?
Yeah, let's keep moving. Let's not get distracted, shall we?
Bungo
Yeah,
smiles
I
at
had the
them.
exact same thought as Sandy. Do it on our way back.
Very well. I'll go discuss the terms of the deal with her, I suppose, then. Unless one of you would prefer to.
Maybe you should keep her waiting for a bit, Bungo. That's what Elodius always does.
Bungo sort of chuckles a little bit, and yeah, let's have a. We'll see how the rest of you perform better than me in this tossing game.
Tosser.
Toss
Okay.
Falcon.
That'll be the next one. From Barley Bros Drinking Games Inc. So,
That's gonna be my
Aw.
backup character.
as Bungo's heading back,
Tilbury Tosspunner, the king of tossing.
yes, Tosser, you ever did see. Gray, you want to investigate the shelf?
Yeah, I want to see if it looks like it's close to going or if it's quite sturdy still.
As you move towards the shelf.
Ugly bug tosser, please. Natalie.
I love tossing stuff.
Tom,
As you move to... Oh, yep.
is Grace taking part in this game? I wouldn't imagine she was, but I don't know if she is.
If she wants to, she would have heard. I think because you're sat so close to each other, she kind of would have heard everything going on. If she wants to purchase bars, if she wants to be part of Verenia's proposal, he could
I
get in
think
on that
she
if she
could
wanted
be
to.
persuaded into giving it like one go if anyone was trying to persuade her, but I don't know if anybody would bother.
There's definitely someone who would bother. I've forgotten his name. Is it Ganks? Yeah, Ganksethal, the Dragonborn, who loves everything local and touristy, would be like, we have to play this game. We have to play this game. On me. And he'd go and buy a bar for each of everyone sat around the table here. But yes, as you move towards the shelf, Grey, you get a bit of a glare from Eris, but as she sees you're just looking, she eases up. What did you roll? An 11?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's... so there's 8 bars up top now, which money-wise is 40 gold pieces worth. It looks like a pretty sturdy shelf. It's interesting. It looks... with an 11...
Yeah.
It's fitted into the stone of the wall itself, but it looks like there's enough space such that anytime a bar lands on the shelf, it kind of naturally rattles a little bit, and that's what slowly loosens it out of it. Difficult to tell without knowing how far back the shelf goes into the wall.
Yep, gotcha.
Anybody taking part?
Already
Yeah.
3 lines though.
I'll do
Actually, I will, but Gray will probably wait for other people to go first.
Roger that. Anyone who's taking part, tell me what order you're taking part in, and I'll tell you what to do. Oh,
I want to go. I'll do first.
Atala's going first.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, this is 2 checks. 1 strength, 1 dex. There's no complications to it. No skills, it's just straight dex and straight strength.
Which one first? Strength or dex?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
A good aim. So as you release the bar, it was arcing towards the shelf, but it's heavier than you thought, and as you release, it kind of falls flat on the floor. The nice thing is that you didn't roll high enough to get it in the basket, so you can reclaim the bar to go again.
Yeah.
Go to the back of the queue, or you can go straight away again if you like.
She'll look around, see if anyone else is aiming.
Sandra would be like, let me go.
Go for it, Sandra. 1 strength, 1 dex.
What she's going to try and do is arc it as high as possible so it hits the middle of the shelf.
Ooh.
And so it goes high and then
Yeah.
hits the middle. So she tries to get the largest moment on it.
Nice. Bonus
and,
points for physics.
What's
I'm trying to remember. Isn't she like pissed? Didn't
I
she
think-
try
yeah,
some
I
ridiculously
think she had
strong?
a shot?
She had a very small amount, yeah.
Or wasn't
she's
it
like-
of the strongest thing that like can kill a mammoth or some shit?
Yeah, it was nasty stuff. But she's okay. She's had 1 little
Alright.
shot.
Oh, you should.
Oh! You visualize it perfectly, but as you go to release the bar, you realize you already dropped it on the floor next to your foot. Again, you can reclaim it to have another go.
She'd just grab it and go again.
Yeah, go for it. Swiftly pick it up. Roll once more. Whoa! Oh! So 12 is enough to hit the shelf. 8 is not enough to aim very well. Can you roll a d10 for me, please? Where's it going? Oh, you lucked out. That is in the middle. So despite your clumsy fingers, it does actually land exactly where you wanted it to. Could you now roll for me a d100?
Whoops.
I love that.
Trying to
For
For
no
no
reason.
Oh! Wait, how many bars is it? 8. Well, holy shit! Central in the first proper go, the shelf rattles and tumbles down.
God.
Central, you hear a cheer from the locals. Taking the shelf! Good job, girl! As all the iron bars clatter down with a loud cacophony into the basket below. So on the shelf was your bar plus the 8 that were already there, so that's 9. And then there were 6 already in the basket, I believe. So
Yeah, she's drinking it all in. She's forgotten about the bars actually falling off. She's just like the
Cheering.
pros.
Jolly good show, Sandra.
How many were there?
So her 14 bars you've gained, and then the 1 you got back from winning it. You'd even hear Verenia clapping from across and raise her glass towards you, Sandra.
She's like, do I set another one up? What am I meant to do now?
Oh, that's me, dear. Don't worry. She gets a little wooden. No, it would be wooden. A little wooden step. Grabs the shelf, and she's stronger than she looks. Lifts it up and heaves it back in. Gray, now that you've got a better look at it, you can see that it's likely to fall. Probably, you think that it fell quite early for Sandral there.
Can she place up 2 that she won?
Is she asking Eris?
No, she's just gonna do it.
Okay. So you go
She
over
wants
and
there
you
to be,
just
like,
put 2
She
on.
wants there to be prize money for her friends to potentially win.
Mm-hmm. I think you'd get another cheer from the locals across, and a genuine big smile from Verenia set up here. But yeah, there's now 2 on the top.
She looks across at Grey and Blam. She's like, try and do as well as me, gentlemen.
Grey, you still waiting? You gonna let Blam go?
He kind of sees it and shakes his head like, oh, why not? Goes to the tossing spot.
Yep.
Kind of takes a moment, turns around, just throws it over his shoulder.
Okay, normal strength roll, Dex with disadvantage. Over your shoulder. Oh! Ooh. So enough strength, Dex to make it. So D10, please. Where is this thing going? Yeah. Clatters off to the right-hand side of it.
Yep.
Landing just in the basket below.
Turns around, kind of shrugs like, well, right place.
Blam, are you having a go at Sink the Shelf?
No.
Holding onto the bar.
The one bar. I like my bar.
Fair enough. Anybody else having a go, or is that all out?
Yeah, I'm out.
Oh no, the guys. Father Wright's asleep, he can't have a go. Ganksathal is gonna have 2 goes. Yeah, you would definitely be being cajoled by the Dragonborn, Grace. He'd be like, go on, show the power of Bahamut.
Yeah, I thought you might say that. She would do like a really reluctant go
Yeah?
and
Do you
be like
think
go
so?
up and be like really embarrassed and just like, oh.
Okay. Dex check, strength check, please.
Like when someone asks you to play darts, it's like, I don't know how to play darts. Who plays darts? I can't play darts.
You just lob it at the board.
Lob it.
Or like when Harry and Gitty tried to make me okay, this shows what a stupid time we have at work and how little work we actually do. You tried to make me shop at this thing he'd found in the garden until we spent like an hour trying to just beat Harry.
Time well spent. You were paid for that.
Is it a saving throw or just an ordinary roll?
An ordinary check.
I know I
On
paid that.
target.
Yes,
Oh, yeah. Grace.
Just today I got paid for peeling tiles off the floor, Tom.
It's not an overly impressive throw, but you weren't going for anything impressive anyway. You walk up, and with the grace of your name, you simply underarm, toss the bar up. Were you aiming for any part of it in particular? Just for flavour?
No, I think she'd just be impressed if it actually hit the shelf.
It does. Could you roll a D100 for me, please?
A D100. A D100.
D100.
You look like a pop.
Oh my fucking god, you jammy fucks. As the bar clatters on, immediately the shelf, one side of it falls out, the other side falls out, and it clatters to the ground again. And the locals this time are just kind of like,
losing his charm now.
Wankers.
Eris, they are wankers. Tossers, all of them. Eris comes over. She's like, well, we don't usually have such swift completions of the shelf sinking, but there you are. So Grace, you've got 3 bars now. It's literally just the 2.
Cool.
Oh no, Grey, did you toss one on? And it
It's
stayed
the
there.
glory of Bahamut.
Yeah. There you
Yeah.
go.
So 4. You got 4 bars, Grace. And Eris does the same again. Puts up the shelf. Gives a quick glance to Verenia, who just smiles and kind of waves her worry away. Heads back to the bar.
Well, I suppose I should go speak with this Verenia.
Can you ask her if there's any cool shops in town to spend this money on? Like, trinkets and stuff. For souvenirs for Elodius and me.
Of course.
Thanks, Bungo.
And he'll head back over to Verenia.
I suppose you've spoken with your companions now?
I have.
They seem quite the dab hand at sinking the shelf.
Yeah, certainly better than I. I believe they would like to take up your offer. We may, the time frame on it may be not exactly what you're expecting, though.
Of course, that's fine. Please, what would be a reasonable time frame for you?
I, do not wish to guarantee for certain. We plan to go as soon as possible to Mount Archelon itself, but we do not know where our destination takes us after that. Should it require us to be in a hurry, then we may not be able to perform it at all. But with Lear on our side, and hopefully we will be able to do it on the way back. I am not one for geography, whatever a reasonable amount of time of that distance would be.
Hey, the reason I originally suggested a 2-week timetable is that's usually what we set in place for our prospecting expeditions. Mining itself takes a lot longer, but this is entirely understandable. How would a full month sound to you?
I think that is reasonable. What if we were unable to complete this mission, though? I would insist on reimbursing you for any of the equipment you provide us with on the way out there. But I do not wish to make a mockery of your generosity in that regard.
No, I appreciate that very much, Bungo Goodbarrel. No mockery.
Oh, I fucking hate that she calls him by his full name. It's so like... it's so like a flex of, I know your fucking full name, Bungo Goodbarrel.
She is a definite flexer. The reimbursement wouldn't be necessary as long as you, however things worked out, if you could simply let me know if you are unable to complete the mission or not.
Of course.
The substantial rewards are based on completion, and the expedition goods, supplies, consider them complimentary. You've been very generous and swift in your response to my proposal.
Well, that is very kind of you, and if hopefully our mission does not become so time sensitive that we cannot complete this for you, then I imagine it should be done within the month.
That's wonderful news. In Mirabar, we share a drink to seal a deal. Is that amenable to you?
Yes, I think that sounds very nice, thank you.
Wonderful. Eris, she calls over, and Eris brings Verenia's very garish golden mug, and a rather more standard-looking mug for you, both full of... It would be probably the mead. And she holds a glass up to clink with yours.
Yeah, he'd clink it.
To deals sealed.
And one more thing, the girl, my friend Sandrao, she was wondering if you had any good suggestions for shopping for trinkets within the city. I've heard, of course, of Sunderston's expeditions, but I do not know if they do such a thing.
Trinkets. we have magical goods, but Sunderston's expeditions is much the yes, it's more of a practical, very practical in its products. Trinkets, the first name that comes to mind is the Forgefire family themselves. I believe you said you've met the Submarchian. He's a colourful man and very fond of his trinkets. They have a storefront of their own. It's right next to the descending stairs to the Undercity, but still on the surface, so you'll be permitted to attend. It's called Forgefire's Fanciful Finds.
Forgefire's.
God, I was just looking at whose Violet Tears.
Fanciful.
Yep.
What was it? Forgefire's Fanciful
Finds.
Finds. Okay.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much. That's. I'm sure she'll appreciate that.
Of course, there are other storefronts too. Some of the human populace like to run little stalls. There isn't much need for. There isn't much place for tourism in Mirabar. We are a practical people here, but there are bits and pieces. There is a potion shop as well, full of reagents, but it all depends on what trinkets your friend is looking for.
Well, I'm not certain, to be honest with you, but I'm sure she'll find what she's looking for. What was the name of the potions store you said?
Full Pockets.
Oh yes, I have heard of it actually.
Run, in fact, by a Submarchian himself, Klein Longcloak, the representative of the human element of the citizenry here in Mirabar.
What is his name, just so I know if
Klein Longcloak.
Klein Longcloak. Very good.
Maybe his name is Klein, but he has a long cloak.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe I'm a bit slow. Is everyone here a dwarf?
Everyone that isn't you
Mirabar.
guys that's in the pub is a dwarf.
Okay.
If Gray wants to ask, I mean, he would have noted that some of the caravan elements weren't dwarven.
But I mean, the caravans, they could be from who knows where.
Very true.
But like upon entering Mirabar, I don't know if he would have seen many people round and about, but is it pretty much just dwarves?
You
Is
haven't
it
entered
a
Mirabar.
dwarven
Yeah.
community.
we're not in yet, are we?
No. This
Oh,
inn
this on the...
is specifically like for travelers. You're about
okay,
400
right.
feet outside Mirabar itself.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I think Bungo would bid adieu and return to the group.
Cool.
He would tell Sandrell. I think there's a place called Forgefire's Fanciful Finds that may be a place worth investigating.
Oh, well, I'll definitely look into it then. I assume we're going to go before we set out tomorrow? Is that where we're collecting all these goods that she's given us from?
I was thinking we'd spend the night and then get up nice and early and head into the city, and then perhaps looks over to Grace and says, "What time were you planning to leave on for the next part of the expedition, Grace?"
I'm afraid I do not know. You'll have to ask the DM.
The DM says it is entirely up to you. If Grace wants to continue traveling with the group, then she would say, when suits you, we can travel together. You know, Grace would know there's safety in numbers, and these guys have already proven themselves very capable in combat situations. If Grace wishes to rush, she could go on ahead to the base camp at Mount Archelon. It's up to her.
No, she'd stick with the group.
Cool.
Very well,
She'd
then.
leave back to Bongo.
Do you think it would be reasonable to leave maybe around, I don't know, early afternoon?
Yes, I think that sounds. Actually, Tom, what time would it be getting dark?
It is winter time, and you're
Yeah.
quite far north, so it's getting dark pretty early, like 4, 5-ish.
Could travel for like 5 hours.
Yeah, okay.
Grace would
Wait.
know that the trip to base camp at Mount Archelon is a lot less than your journey from Luskan to Mirabar. Probably only a couple of days on foot.
Okay. Yeah, she would relay that.
How many carts do we have?
1.
0. Oh no, Grace is 1. You have 1, yeah.
Okay, so old guy gets in the back. And the rest of them walking. That's fine.
Well,
Bringing a
right.
cart up a mountain? How's that gonna... Is there a path?
You can ask Grace.
What happened to the 2 guards? We had 2 guards with us, didn't we?
Yeah.
They went off with the submarching.
Yep, back into Mirabar.
Yeah.
Supposedly to set up some kind of shrine to Lyra, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, their names were Astrid and Robin Stefan. Jeez.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Gray's like, this is Neverwinter. What the fuck is this shit?
It's not John Cena, I'm not interested.
But yeah, Tala could ask Grace that. Grace has a wealth of knowledge about the journey.
Oh, good.
That I will convey through Grace, but for RP purposes, Grace
Go do the
does
voice,
have a wealth
Tom.
of knowledge.
the
Yes, I will answer all your questions.
Why
Captain, I
does
believe.
he sound like a porn robot?
The fuck
I'm
is the
porn.
what the fuck is a porn robot?
Exactly.
It's like
what it's-
automated it on the end of like a sex line, be like, oh yes, oh tell me what you want.
How many sex lines have you gone on with porn robots?
What are you doing over
All
at
of
fucking
them.
Charleston? Jesus.
Charleston's a very liberated place. Leave me alone.
That's true. But yeah, does Atala want to ask Grace?
Yeah. Should ask her. Yeah, so is there a path? Or should we roleplay it? Is there enough questions?
Well, it's gonna be poor Anya. It's gonna be me speaking through her. But Grace knows, as she's made the trip multiple times before, that there is the road north to the base camp is not treacherous, but it's not very well worn. It's like a dirt trail through the snow. Once you're at base camp, though, base camp's actually quite well established. There's almost like a little tent community there with some stalls, a shrine to Bahamut himself, little bits and pieces. There's a presence of Clan Archelon as well. They have guards stationed at the base of a winding set of steps, which is called the Platinum Stair, which leads up all the way up to Rhymebreath Monastery,
Stop.
which is
I need to
near
make
the
notes.
peak of Mount Archelon.
So there's at least a path that we can go with the cart anyway.
100%
Is
the
it,
cart can be taken to base camp, yes.
Okay.
People
that
often
it's-
ride
even though
horses
it's
there.
Even though it's a little dirt path covered in snow, I assume, you still get through it.
It'll be fine, yeah.
What's it called, Tom? The Platinum Stairway.
Platinum Stair.
Stair. That leads to Frost.
Rhymebreath Monastery.
Leads-
Rime.
And that is where Kadra is meeting us, right?
In her
I can't remember what she put in her
Missive.
letter. Yeah.
Right, you now travel here to Mount Archelon. Should you come across the Baxter by the name of Grace? Yeah, if you can make it to Rhymebreath Monastery,
I
seek me
thought
out.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah. Cool.
Bungo,
yeah.
why
Grace
don't
would tell you
um,
it is very far up the mountain.
Why don't you ask what's her name? Dragonborn lady?
Naxora.
No.
Kadra.
Kadra. If she's there waiting, or if she's not.
I certainly could. If Bungo had prepared his spells, has he prepared it?
Hmm.
No.
Hey, do it in the
On the
morning.
morrow, dear, on the morrow.
Okay. Just might be worth asking just before we go up.
Yes, that's a good idea. I think I did say Bungo was keeping in contact with her though, right? Like on the days where, yeah.
Yep.
So far she has indicated that she is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Contact with her has been exactly as you expect from Kadra. Very terse,
Yeah.
professional.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Is there also anything else on the way to the monastery?
Grace would know that before you reach the monastery, there's the bridge, White Wing Bridge, which crosses to Eastfang. It's a thin stone bridge that has stood the test of time.
What's it called? White something bridge?
White Wing
Wing
Bridge. Grace would tell you that apart from that, it's quite sparse. There are creatures that make their home on the mountainside, caves and such, but the Platinum Stair winds its way up. There are parts where the stair has worn away a lot from exposure to the weather, and as such it's a bit more treacherous. There are areas where you kind of have to clamber rather than climb, as in walking up, climbing the stairs. But there aren't major landmarks as such. Those who know the stair well can pick out landmarks, because many pilgrims who've tried to make the journey but failed to make it all the way to the top of the stair carve their names into the stair itself on the furthest stair they've gotten to, and then retreated.
Okay. It's quite treacherous then if people are retreating off of these stairs.
It is absolutely treacherous. Grace would tell you that the weather is brutal. There's the creatures that can sometimes attack travelers. Part of why she does what she does in service to Bahamut is to be a guard for pilgrims who can't defend themselves ascending the stair.
Okay. Do you know what creatures are there, so we are prepared, or not really?
She would say there are it wouldn't be Arctic because it's not in the world, but like winter wolves, bears. There is still a presence of white dragons, though it's rare to see them. Polar bears, yeah. Yeti. I've forgotten the name of them, but Grace would know about these guys. Remoraz. They're like these long, snaky insects that breathe fire.
Scooby-Doo.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is that a
they are
Scooby-Doo thing?
Remoraz, yeah.
Remoraz.
Oh,
Little white bunny.
fucking hell, get the hell out.
But yeah, they're very dangerous.
Okay. And these cute stuff, right, Tom? Like cute little white bunnies and cute little white foxes.
Yeah, they've got to be there so that the wolves can eat them.
Exactly.
Yeah, she'd say it is. No, there is a lot of wildlife. The mountainside is very much untouched. There is no mining on the mountain. Mirabar has tried multiple times to get mining expeditions up on the mountain, but anytime they've tried, they've been forcefully rebuffed by Clan Archelon.
Okay.
People have been killed. So it's very much full nature, apart from the stair itself.
As a cleric, is there any spells she would suggest for Bungo?
Oh. Spells, cleric. She'd say not to underestimate spells that work towards survival in the wilderness. So things to keep you moving,
Freedom
things
of
to protect
movement.
you from the elements,
Troll
anything that can
water.
guide your way,
Okay.
and very much the kind of expected clerical duties of keeping people alive.
Yeah.
She'd say that a lot of the time her job isn't about killing the creatures that attack, it's either dissuading or escaping them.
Okay. How's that? We need to buy some anti-polar bear spray, Bungo.
Yes, not sure they'll sell that in Mirabar, dear, but that never hurts to ask.
Perhaps a little bit of illusory magic if anyone's got any. She looks around. Nope.
Looks
No.
at Blam. Looks at Sandrell.
I just imagine Blam
Looks
like
like
illusionary magic, and he just like taps his axe.
I have thaumaturgy, so I have illusory magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got minor illusion.
Yeah.
Scare him away.
It was mostly so that I could scare the shit out of things and be like, Bahamut sees you.
Great.
Yeah, which is another tactic for running into creatures, trying to look big and sound big to scare them off.
Yeah, because I definitely wasn't just going to smack them.
But yeah, she'd say essentially beasts tend to be alright. In general, you want to try and stop a fight rather than take to a fight, just because you're on treacherous terrain and a wrong step at the wrong time can really mess you up. But if you see a white dragon, a Remoraz, I think it's Remoraz, or a Behir would be another one she'd mention, that you should fucking run away.
How long does it
Down
take
the
to
stairs
get up
if you
these
need to.
stairs?
Grace would say that depends, but it's at least 4 to 5 days of ascent.
Ooh,
It's a
Wow.
fucking massive mountain.
and it's all just a staircase all the way up.
Yep,
Fucking hell.
yep. That's why people turn back.
Alright, everyone's flying up there, fuck it.
In my budget.
I'll go first.
Sandra would ask how often people die on the staircase.
Grace, how frank would you be with your answer to that?
Should probably be pretty honest.
Yeah, then she'd tell you that quite frequently.
I just want to know how many times Grace goes up and down this fucking thing. When there are people that turn back and they're like, I can do it no longer, and she's just like once a week, like la 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 la.
Grace is a fucking badass, but she goes much further south to collect people to take up, so it's not like she's going up and
Oh,
down
I
the
see.
staircase like a fucking stairmaster at the gym.
Okay, I was gonna say, because as George will attest, you have got the wrong player playing this one. I can't even pretend.
But it's up to you. I imagined Grace having made the full journey up to Rhinebreath maybe 4 or 5 times in her life,
Yeah, she's done it a few times.
but not tons. But yeah.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'll be quiet now.
Not at
You
all.
also
I was
asked-
waiting for you guys to fucking question Grace.
If there's any bodies which sort of indicate how far up you are.
It's not like Everest, Kieran, god damn it. Grace would tell you
Might be.
that the stair itself is kept clear of corpses by Clan Archelon.
Oh.
They always have people marching the stair. It's actually like a rite of passage for many of the young members of the clan.
Clean up duty.
But they will not help you in your ascent. You could be fighting something and they wouldn't stop and help. They'd march on past.
Yeah, it's like
Fair
a
enough.
pilgrimage, isn't it? Proving
Yeah.
your dedication.
Yeah.
What about like stops along the way? If it's gonna take 5 days to get up there, are there
Mhm.
points of places to stop, or do we have to make those places?
Yeah, Grace would have set places where she stopped before, and there would be known places where there's a certain rock outcropping that gives you more shelter. Perhaps even a monster, a previously inhabited cave that has since had its occupant head off elsewhere or what have you. There are places on the way up. She would also say that it's not just places you need to sleep at the end of a day. You need to take breaks regularly on the ascent because you're walking up a fucking steep stone staircase on a blizzard in blizzard conditions up a very steep mountain.
Hmm.
At which point Bungo's like, ah, fuck. My tiny legs!
Yeah.
They don't work good, sir.
I'm out much taller, Bungo, I'm afraid. Just trying to think of any other questions. So there are places to stop. Are they regular places to stop? Or-
Yeah. It's the kind of thing where you'll be walking up, you'll have started from a place where you've stopped, like a cave or something.
Mm.
You'll be going for an hour or two, and then Grace will probably be like, we're going to stop here for a bit, everyone take a short rest, a break,
Mm.
kind of thing.
An hour or two? Tom, you don't know me at all.
Grace is got thighs of steel.
Yeah, okay.
Anya has thighs, made of cake.
Pudding.
How about if so if we're going to take very frequent breaks, would
Yep.
casting water walk speed us up?
So,
You can walk on snow.
you can. The problem with that is that the steps themselves, snow does settle on it. But if you think about how that's affecting your walking,
Mm-hmm.
if you imagine steps, because obviously steps being like little right angles, the edge of each step is likely to have snow on it, but the back of the step that's next to the next step going up
Mhm.
is likely not to.
Okay.
If you crunch down on that with your foot, it's just going to be a normal step. But if you're water walking and you go on top of the snow, it can end up with your foot going at kind of a weird angle. Do you see what I mean?
Mm.
Can you tell
Yeah.
I've had way too much time to think about this today?
Yep.
But yeah, so water walking can be super clutch if you need to go off the stairs or if you're walking from the stairs to a cave for shelter or whatever. But on the stairs itself, it can actually be detrimental.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And one more question. I've
Mhm.
just thought of.
No, I love it.
Is there any chance of an avalanche?
Yes, very
Yeah.
much so. That's all I was thinking when Anya said about using thaumaturgy to shout. Yeah, there is. It's not. So because it's a carved route, the route taken is been taken with dangers in mind. So it's not as if you're like the route is designed to go right underneath like a steep overhang where snow tends to build up or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there is a chance. Snow can spill down the stair itself from above. There can be rock slides, boulders coming down.
Okay.
But it's not so. It's not like a silent, pristine snowscape where you need to be not saying anything.
Will D&D Brian Blessed be up there because he loves climbing Mount Everest?
Fuck's sake, I knew you were gonna fucking bring that up.
Certainly could be. That'd be a fun character to put
I
in.
would 100%.
Classic
Like
fucking
that.
Yogpod joke.
No, he actually does love
No,
it.
no, it's just they always put it up on the Yog. Was it Yogpod they brought it up on? I think so.
So yeah. Think less pristine snowscape, being careful on a ski slope, and more Lord of the Rings when they're trying to go over the mountains and they're having to carve through the snow and it's all like blizzarding
Oh, and
horribly.
Saruman does the thing, and he's like,
And the lightning
Should
strikes
we
down.
be
we
careful?
gotta go through the mines of Moria, guys. The mines of Eastfang. I'm sure
That
it'll be
doesn't work
safe.
here at all. You'd be like, we've got to go through the mines. It's like, nope. Rime Breath Monastery's up there.
Should we be careful of like sinkholes and stuff? So like when you get avalanches. So if there's been any previous
Oh,
avalanches,
yeah,
they
yeah.
fall into big gaps and stuff.
Different types of snow.
Mhm.
Yes, absolutely. And Grace would strongly recommend, though fairly recommend, that people listen to her when it comes to crossing the snow,
Mhm.
because she would be able to recognize where that's taken place. Yeah.
Mhm.
We'll figure it out.
Basically, please keep arms and legs on the stairs unless directed otherwise.
Okay.
Excellent.
He's
That's all I
so
got.
out of his element.
There's no trees to climb. There's no tables to hide under. Yep. Yeah. Everyone.
Yeah.
Unless you're a local, everyone is out of their element up here. Cool. So, with that discussion taking place and the deal agreed with Verenia, is there anything else anyone would like to do with the evening, or are you going to be heading to the beds? Nice soft beds.
Betty buys.
Betty buys.
Betty buys.
Yeah, I think so.
Excellent. So you take to your beds. They're all comfortable, high quality beds, feather beds. I'd even go so far as to say, probably with waterbird feathers.
Sorry.
River Mirror so close by. Each of you finds yourselves quickly after a long journey. Apart from, of course, Atala. Is there anything you'd like to do with the night, Atala?
Well, I wanted to read books. There's no books in there, but no.
There's books in Mirabar.
Sneaky books. Well, I did want to do that other thing with the cube, but problem is, walking into some random dwarf's bedroom is kind of weird.
Well, to be clear, yeah, no one else is staying at the inn apart from you guys. And also the Marble Brows who live here.
Yeah. And she doesn't know if they believe in anything for sure anyway, so yeah, nothing I don't think.
Cool. The night passes. There are no disturbing dreams. I will say, Sandral, in your sleep, there's your mind's called back, not far at all, to earlier that day sat by the hearth. You feel the heat of the fire and the sound of the crackling wood.
That's why she would have chosen this bedroom, because it's got the back of a hearth to it.
Very smart. And the warmth does emanate into the room, giving you a nice, cozy feeling wrapped up in your comfortable bed. And the night passes dreamlessly. Not unpleasantly at all, though you do feel, even in your slumber, a sense. It's almost as if you keep hearing the crackling fire, and you can at times almost sense the dancing light of a flickering flame across your eyelids. But your sleep is not disturbed, and at no point are you worried. It's like a passive thing.
I imagine she'd just find comfort in it, because when she used to sleep next to the hearth with Toblin, because she was one of those kids, wasn't she?
She absolutely was, very well remembered. Yeah, and that is where she would sleep in the Stonehill Inn. But yeah. The night passes. You are woken with a knock on the main door here, and the calling of Eris is calling out. Breakfast is available for anyone who wishes it. Compliments of Verenia Sunderston.
Oh yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, Sandra would burst out as well.
Grub! So yeah, you're served a hearty Granny Marble Brow cooked breakfast. It's good quality stuff.
Is it actually nice, or is it just like...
It's really nice. If anyone tries to give their compliments to the chef, they'd have a very odd experience of Granny Marble Brow, whose eyes don't quite center at the same point.
Great.
She's she's quite eccentric, but where the rest of her looks like a bit of a wild old lady, her hands are very deft at the cooking, and no, it's really good quality, and it looks. I think Eris would probably whisper to perhaps you, Sandral, that Verenia had top quality ingredients brought in for your breakfast this morning.
She'd be like, "Man, we can toast it."
And Eris would smile at that, and yeah, she'd provide you with anything you need on the house. Compliments of Verenia, who would not be here now, nor would these guys. It's empty apart from you all. Father Wright would be sleeping in.
She'd also put a hand on the bar, trying to be cool, and be like, "Yeah, give me a. Can I have one for the road, please?"
Eris would smile, give us a quick look to each of the rest of you, but kind of say, "Oh well, of course, I wouldn't want to deny the champion of Sink the Shelf her morning dew."
Should we like oh God, what is it? Yes, can I have a pint of 10 pounds tipple, please?
Well, of course.
A pint.
Yes.
She would.
He's like, gotta keep warm on a cold day like this.
What's your passive perception, Sandra?
17.
Oh fuck yeah! You see Eris saying, "Well, of course," and she gives a wink to Bungo, and
He'd be like, "Hey, I'm a full-grown woman. They're not my parents."
she blushes slightly. She's like, "All right, girl, but I'm not serving you a pint of tipple. You wouldn't make it through the rest of the day."
She'd like grumble and be like, "Can I have it in a little flask so I can nip it throughout the day?" I promise I won't drink it all at once. It kind of made me feel sick last night anyway.
It'll make you feel a lot worse than that. Do you have a flask?
She has 2 water skins, so I guess she'd empty one of them and be like, "Yes."
You know what? You won it yourself, and well, you look like you've done most of your growing. Give it here.
Yes, hands over.
And she fills it up with tipple.
Nice. she is actually gonna not drink it all at once.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be good for fucking flame fuel later on if you need it. She'd be like, "I'll have to tell Verenia about that one. She'll be even more impressed with you."
Oh, she's impressed with me already?
Of course. Everyone was when you won the game, and you handle yourself well. Lots of enthusiasm. Seem to know what you want, and you're out to get it. Verenia's always been much the same.
Well, I've been to a few places with my father, and Mirabar's definitely up there on the list.
Alright. She kind of looks around at everyone else. These aren't, Is your father here?
No, they just took me away from the south.
We kidnapped her.
Yeah, we saved her.
He's being cheeky.
Right. Of course. Well, a kidnapping will do you good once in a while, I think. Get to see more of the world. Mirabar's a interesting place. I like working out here, away from the hustle and bustle, but it's definitely worth seeing. If you get a chance to see the Hall of All Fires, please do.
Ooh. Just like, we have to go there, definitely.
What's the Hall of All Fires?
It's, I guess what would pass in the more traditional city as the city hall. People gather to speak and deal with matters of the town. It's just quite beautiful, really. Great stonework.
It sounds
Makes me
lovely.
feel proud. It's not bad.
I do like the sound of a fire.
There's plenty of fire there.
I think we better be heading into the city as soon as possible.
Of course. Please have a great day, and if I see you again, I'll look forward to the day.
You've been a wonderful host, and may Lyra bless your day.
Thank you kindly. There's a temple on the surface if you wish to visit it, Master Man. If you're of the religious sort, it's meant to be for all gods. Can't say I'd heard of yours.
Right. May well do that if we have time.
Of course. Well, Have a lovely day, everyone. And she turns around, Granny, and heads into the kitchen with the dishes.
Tomato!
Excellent. You heading into town?
Yeah.
Grace, you going with?
I'm not in protest that you ate my accordion.
Grub?
Yeah.
Oh, is it because I said your grub is served or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
Grub is safe and sound, honking and tooting on the high seas.
Oh, damn it! Why is my harmonica downstairs?
Get a harmonica holster. That's what the coolest kid sounds.
That's just what I need for every day at work. I can think of no situation which would not be improved by me being like, here's the library, have a look around, and then just in the background.
I would love it.
I know you would. Yeah, Grace will go with him. Sorry.
Cool. I think probably the no, they'd come to. I think Father Wright probably gets a lion, and you can leave instructions with Eris to make sure he's not worried that you've all abandoned him when he wakes up. But the group can head in. Amazing. So, as you leave the inn, Mirabar is only a few hundred feet away. You can see the city is a strange mixture of things. You've got the River Mirar. It's built right in the crest of the river itself, where the river parts. Or not parts, but rather is fed by a tributary coming from the north. Let me just move you over.
Ooh.
So, built into the curve of the river is this formidable-looking, small-scale city. Great earthworks are built up around it, and the stone wall itself is built on an angle, so as to almost provide like a ramp going down, which seems odd with the purpose of the wall being to keep people out. The ramp would seem to allow people to sort of climb up it and come in. But either way, great stoneworks surround the city itself. Very few buildings are beyond a second story. These are all squat stone buildings, sturdily made. But as you begin to approach the front of the city itself, you walk across a well-made and maintained stone bridge. You can see this tributary coming from the northwest, feeding into the main River Mirar as it flows by you off to the west towards Luskan proper. As you approach towards the gates, you have to climb this stair, reminding you of your conversation yesterday and the trials that lay ahead of you. But fortunately, this stair is a lot...
I can't take it anymore.
This stair is a lot shorter. And as you reach the front gate, you'd notice that the doors are solid iron, barred and locked, closed at the moment, with two human guards stationed out the front.
Oh.
Did you make this map?
Yes. No, I didn't.
Oh,
I stole it.
pretty good.
It's really cool. I was looking for ages, and I think it's vaguely new because I checked about maybe 6 months ago, looking for Mirabar stuff, and there was nothing. But this has come up since. It's really cool.
It's very nice.
It's cool. It's giving me ideas.
Yeah. But as you approach the doors, the guards would call out to you and hold up a hand straight away. Halt there! State your business and your name.
Hello, we are, I am Bungo Goodbarrel. This is my wife Atala. We are hoping to do trade.
Trade's usually done by companies, merchants with full caravans. You're an odd-looking lot.
We are passing through. We are ascending the mountain.
I see. And he'd sort of glance back to Grace and a little gaggle in their robes. We get pilgrims sometimes. Easy to pass through here. If you're just passing through, I can escort you straight to the northern gate.
The Submarchian said we could do trade here. He gave us a thing. He's got it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Do I have it?
So,
Which Submarchian is this?
Gildred
Gildred.
Forgefire.
I see. He sort of gives a little smile to the other guard. So you present the token from Gildred.
Yeah, I don't know who
From his
has
beard?
it, but
That's alright, doesn't matter. You present it, and the guards said, "Yep, that's Forgefire, alright. I have to be clear, you do not have full run of the city, even with this token. In the center of the upper city is the path down to the undercity. That, whilst Mirabar is a whole, we work together. The surface deals readily with outsiders. The undercity is really its own domain. You'd need to be escorted by a member of a dwarven household to be allowed down into the undercity itself, and that doesn't happen often.
we just wish to buy some basic goods and then be on our way.
Of course, the surface city is where the commerce takes place anyway. Undercity is largely for mining and working the stone and metals. Do you have destinations in mind, or are you looking to browse?
We do, I wish to head to, Full Pocket, Sunderston's expeditions, and the Central Plaza.
Oh, very good. Sunderston's expeditions is immediately on your left. On the map, it's the Great Guildhall, but Sunderston's have taken it over. Full Pocket is immediately ahead of you, so that's very easy for you to find. This surface city is not too large, at any rate. You can walk the whole thing in maybe half an hour.
Well, thank you kindly.
Of course, enjoy the city. You'd call back, open the gate, and you'd hear the rattling of chains and the clanking as the large iron gates part, swing back on their hinges, and you can walk into the city itself.
I think you'd ask where, like, the other places were as well, such as, Forgefire's Fanciful Finds.
He would tell you that Forgefire's Fanciful Finds is in fact in the Undercity.
Oh, shit. Where could we find the Submarchian Forgefire as well?
He'd actually laugh at that. The Submarchian's a colourful man. Hard to pin him down even in his older years. Probably your best bet now. Probably Hall of All Fires.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Good luck. Excellent. So, you enter the city. The gates close behind you. You're treated to the site. It's a strange experience because though it is named as a city, it's almost like being in a town, a small town really on the surface here. There's a number of residential buildings that you see around you. Everything is stonework, occasionally complemented with bits of wood here and there, but it looks like wood's at a premium. The ground is fully covered, apart from the occasional bit of snow, in a thick gravel. So as you walk around, you hear the crunch of stone under your feet. But yeah, the city is yours. What would you like to do?
I want to seek out... Well, I've got a few things I want to do. I want to seek out the Submarchian Forgefire to see about purchasing diamonds. And then also, like, pendants and stuff as well. And then after that, I want to go to, like, Full Pockets to get any other spell components. And then finally, maybe, maybe the Central Plaza if I can't find anything on top of that.
Cool. Would people like to split up, or are you all going as a group?
Sandra would kind of like to go around on her own, but
Yeah, I think Bungo would
If
have specific things in mind, so he would...
she definitely want to go to the expedition place because that sounds like fun.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that other places below the city, she probably wouldn't go. She would
If we-
probably go to Hall of All Fires and wait about after that.
Okay. Anybody else? Otherwise, I'll
Um,
consider it Sandra. Oh, yeah, Atala.
Yeah, if we're splitting up, I think Atala wants to go to the temple.
Oh, very cool. Absolutely. Temple of All Faiths.
Mhm.
Here.
The one.
Yeah, Bungo would go to that, but later, I think.
Yeah.
This is going to be pretty much our last stop, so this is to prepare for this trek. This is where we're going to do it.
I think so. Yeah.
Grace told you about base camp, that there are some stalls there, but certainly this is going to be the place, the best last place for you to stock up. Yeah.
I think we need to visit all of the houses in Mirabar.
Yeah, that's great. I've got my list of NPCs. Let's fucking go.
Did Verenia say like where we'd get the stuff that she was going to like give us?
Oh yeah, she would have said at the Thunderstone expedition.
Okay, that's cool.
They'll sort you out.
I want to meet our character, Tom.
Yeah. That is.
I was telling
possible.
Jasmina about this yesterday in the car, and I thought she'd find it hilarious, but she just rolled her eyes at me.
It's not impossible that happens. But they're not in the surface city.
I would like to go to probably the City of All Fires first to find what's his face.
Cool. All right. So we'll run along with that. If anybody at any point wants to split off or do other stuff, just let me know. Sandral, you're going straight to the expeditions?
Well,
Or do you want to just hang out together? It's not a huge city. You can just kind of roam around together.
Atala wants to go to the temple by herself, so she's splitting up.
Yeah, that's fine.
I guess because they're going to all the place, she'd probably just stay. I don't know.
Could hang
She'd
around
probably-
with Bungo. He's probably going to similar places.
She'd probably go All Fires, then go to that place, then go back to All Fires. She doesn't really.
That's
She just wants to see the adventuring place.
Yeah, I think that's what Bungo is pretty much going to do anyway, apart from go to the temple afterwards instead of All Fires.
Yeah, no worries at all. So you head to the Hall of All Fires. It's an impressive building. Across the top of the roofs, there are these multiple braziers lit and kept burning. You occasionally see a unhappy-looking dwarf having to clamber up onto the roof and refill fuel on the top. It's set up so that the first level, the first story is closed. So the second story, this is one of the few buildings that does have a second story, actually is, rather than walls, it's open with pillars, so people can speak across the courtyard in it. You see a great number of different humans and dwarves speaking with each other. It looks like some are sat and in deep discussion, others are in passing. Are you looking for Gildred in particular?
Yeah, Bungo would be.
Yeah, and fortunately for you, Gildred is not a difficult man to spot in a crowd. He's very shiny, and you would spot him before long, seemingly deep in conversation with a dwarven woman.
Yeah, Bungo would just go up and try and ask about the diamonds. We don't and pendants to purchase. We don't necessarily need to roleplay it.
That's fine. Yeah, I think he'd probably startle. He'd start a little bit and have a moment of "Who are you?" and then "Oh yes, of course." And
my son.
Yeah, give you a big clap on the back and say hello to everyone. He'd introduce you just because he's a very nice man, and that's the nice thing to do. To the woman he's talking to is actually a very important woman, Sub-Marchian Gwenria Gwensdottir. I'll put her on the page so you can write it down. Put her in everyone's journals. I love her art so much.
Oh my god, that's great.
Yep.
Oh my god.
So very purposely made up, hair immaculately done, touches of makeup, all with like a blue tint to them. She holds herself very poised, gives you the proper greeting of a small bow, before politely dismissing herself from the conversation. But yeah, the Submarchian would have introduced her.
Yeah, Bungo's just looking for, like you said, he's going to look for diamonds and pendants and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. The Submarchian, who, remembering why he's indebted to you, would feel quite abashed that he didn't recognize you immediately, would offer to take you down to the Fanciful Finds immediately, if you
Ooh.
wish to go.
I think
Can I just-
he would. If Sandrao's with Bungo, he would definitely say to Sandrao, like,
Say what?
that we're going down to the trinket place.
Oh yeah, she'd be glad about that.
Can I just say that Tala would have probably given Bungo some extra money for diamonds.
Ooh, okay. How much?
Should we say how much are they? I don't know how much they are.
300 to 500
Okay.
gold usually.
I'm gonna give you 500.
Thank you.
Cool.
I did that.
So yeah, because you accepted Verenia's proposals, she will act as your front so that you can operate with coin without having to worry about the logistics of the mirror bars.
Bars.
Yeah. Excellent. So you heading straight down?
Yeah.
He'd be rattling onto you as you head down, talking about the city, pointing things out. I had my first ever kiss down there, right down there behind the mine. Oh, she was a lovely one.
What was her name?
A gentleman doesn't kiss and tell, young lady.
That's very noble of you.
Well, we all have to do our bit. They say the age of chivalry is dead, but I say I'm still here and kicking. But he'd lead you down, and you'd note that the Undercity isn't too far down. The stone steps, it's maybe a couple of flights of steps, maybe 20 feet down in total. And it's a completely different world down here. You immediately feel heat, seemingly built up from this great realm of industry beneath the ground. There's great bellowing chimneys off to one side, and the sound of thousands of hammerfalls on anvils across to the other side. And the Submarchian looks very proud as he sort of gazes around and says, Isn't it amazing? Isn't it quite the sight?
It certainly is.
Well, without further ado, you see, it's a little bit naughty that I'm bringing you down here. We're not really meant to bring outsiders, but, you know, I'm a Submarchian after all, and what would be the point if we couldn't bend the rules a little bit for our friends? But he'd lead you straight up, straight towards a shop. And I'll show it on your things.
God, they're not going to be racist, are they?
He's not. So, as you head down, where so many of the buildings are practical, some stone, sometimes soot-stained, but very sort of brutal cuts in the stone, practically minded, this store stands out like a sore thumb. It's a garish storefront with a magical shifting banner across the top of it. The banner flaps, the illusory banner flaps in a wind that clearly doesn't exist, proudly displaying a logo alongside a set of 3 words: Forgefire's Fanciful Finds. Made to look as if carved from stone, despite being on an illusory banner. The words are clearly displayed with a reddish-yellow molten glow to them. Beneath the banner is a set of stained glass windows, all different colours, with gilded lines of plated gold in between the panes themselves. Everything you can see is colourful, gilded, swaddled in rich fabrics and silks. He ushers you inside immediately, and you see the inside is no less ostentatious than the outside. There are hanging silks, thick rugs, and exotic animal skins across the whole ground. Shiny trinkets, odds and ends line the shelves, but the real goods, and Gildred doesn't hesitate in showing you this, are proudly on display in the center of the two small rooms that make up the shop, with magical lights circling them. As he comes into the shop and sort of gestures for you to look at these amazing works, he calls out towards the back of the shop, Mizrae, are you around? And bursting from the back of the shop is an elderly dwarven woman, walking towards you, huddled over, leaning on a gilded cane, taking short shifting steps towards you, her face looking down towards the ground. And she's like, Gildred, you've come to see me. Gildred's like, Mizrae, these are friends. You can stop putting on the act. She's like, I don't know what you mean. And as she says mean, she bursts up from her crooked hunch and stands proudly in front of you, and her whole image shifts immediately. She now looks like a tall, handsome, dark-skinned man with a thick black beard, shut up, Anya, and long, wavy black hair cascading down across broad shoulders. A low-cut white shirt, dashing red sash caught loosely around his waist, and sturdy black breeches before, and a winning smile with shiny white teeth completes the look. And he just says, well, hello there. What can I do you for? And Gildred says, that's quite enough for me. I'll be waiting outside. Goodbye, Mizrae.
Thank you,
Stumbles back out of the shop.
Submarchian.
How do I get in contact with Mizrae? He sounds great.
She is great.
Well, you're quite the I quite enjoyed the transformation.
As you say transformation, the image shifts again once more, and stood before you as a small dwarven girl, blonde braids tumbling down her sides, a colourful smock that looks as if she's recently been painting. There's splotches of different colours there. And she says, thanks very much. I try my best, you know. I just think life's too short to only be one person at any one time. Anyway,
I like that thinking.
What brings you here?
I'm just looking for stuff, you know, to remember my visit here.
Oh, well, you've come to the very best place. Please, there's stuff and things and all sorts, odds and ends, fanciful finds, all across. And she does a little spin on her heel as she gestures open arms around the shop. Help yourself.
Okay.
I am looking for more specific things.
I see.
And I'm just going to start reading them out to you, Tom, because it's kind of a long list.
Yeah.
He's looking for he's looking for a ruby.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking for they probably won't have that. Or what? No, he's looking for powdered silver.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking for either a glass eye or a jeweled horn worth about 100 gold pieces each.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking for powdered diamond.
Mm.
He's looking for multiple diamonds. As many as he can get, basically.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking for a sunburst pendant.
Oh, that sounds cool.
He's looking for a single jewel worth about 1,000 gold pieces.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking for a single diamond worth 500 gold pieces. What else is there? He's looking for powdered ruby, I think. No, maybe not that. That's really expensive. He's looking for a gem encrusted, like, crafted bowl worth about 1,000 gold pieces.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
Those are all very doable. As you were speaking to Mizrae, she transformed to look like a dour, middle-aged human man with a tightly held black ponytail clamped in a silver band behind his head, thick glasses, and scribbling away on a notepad. She just says, "Yes, yes, 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 yes. We can do that. We can do that. We can do that." You see, she transforms back into the dashing, dark-skinned man. You see, we will have to collect some of these goods. Some of this is unfinished, your powdered diamond, your raw-cut gems, but they can all be collected from our various holdings within the Undercity. If you have time, I can have it all in maybe 2 hours.
That seems very reasonable, thank you.
Of course. Will you be paying bars?
Gold, if please possible. We are, we can, my words had gone. He explains the deal with Verenia.
Verenia. Quite the entrepreneur. Of course, a deal with the Sunderstons is as good as done. In total then, that comes to... I assume you had prices in mind?
Yeah, I've got a list of prices here of what they're worth.
Can you afford it all?
Let me fucking check. Hold on.
In the meantime, Sandral?
I think Sandra would have been looking around, but she would have seen that ring of jumping and been like, "Oh shit!" That's cool. Would she be able to know that is a ring of jumping?
Absolutely. If she didn't know immediately, as soon as she's looking at something, Mizrae would slide on over. For Sandral, she'd probably transform into a version of Sandral, but older.
What the fuck?
Older.
Fuck that.
Strong-looking woman in ranger's garb, and just says, "Yes, I found that most useful in my travels. Definitely get it, younger me."
Oh right, where did you go?
Well, we went deep into the caverns of the Helmore Expanse, slew a demon, and...
Inside.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, she's completely bullshitting.
Oh, so you've never actually tried it out?
She'd transform into the old lady at that and just be like, "Why are you so mean to me, young woman?"
Well, my father, he's quite an old man. He says, "Don't be fooled by age." He puts it on more just to, get better deals off people.
She'd transform into the young blonde dwarven girl. That's a smart man. It's a pretty great ring, to be honest. If you're looking to buy.
Just trying to work out how far she'll be able to jump with this.
Pretty far.
Up to your strength score. So she'll be able to jump 30
Like,
feet.
triples
Long
it, right?
jump.
Yeah, man. That's fucking wacky. Jump spell's so underrated.
And
What about
it'll be-
vertical jump? Like 15 to 20 feet?
When you make a high jump, you can
That's fucking
3
crazy.
plus your strength modifier.
Does the jump spell not triple that?
Well, she'd be able to jump 9 feet.
Yeah, that's insane. You could jump over Blam.
Yeah. And that'd be what? 3,250 gold pieces?
Yep. He's pricey.
She's gonna try and knock a bit off, and she's like, Well, if you've never tried it, how do I know that it lives up to the claims?
The little girl would have a cheeky grin up at you and say, "Well, I guess you just have to take my word for it," and then transform into the old lady. "With a lifetime of experience, I can strongly suggest that it works just as intended."
But the thing is, we're going
feel
up
like you'll
Mount
drink the blood of
Archelon, so I need full assurance that it works. Otherwise, I could try and jump over a chasm and just fall to my death.
Make a persuasion check.
Should a trial run.
That's what the persuasion check's for. Yeah, she quite liked Sandra. "Well, I suppose," and she'd turn into handsome Misray, "there are plenty of suitable gaps and heights and things for your purposes here. I think I can trust you. You've got a trustworthy look about you. If you wish to give it a try, you're welcome to do so."
Yeah, she definitely would. Is there any way she can jump in the shop with it?
She jumps 9 feet.
Yeah.
Well, it's a dwarven shop, though.
Probably not.
Probably not, yeah.
You'd point up the rafters.
No, it's built into the stone.
Shit. I was going to say she'd jump up and try and hang on, but no, she believes that it's real. She just wanted to get money off.
There's 20 feet from one end to the other, or probably more like 30 feet. So if you wanted to do a long jump, you probably could.
She also doesn't want to break anything in a shop. That's the thing.
That's true. And all
Just
the
do the
fancy
jump
stuff
and be
right in the
prepared to
middle.
like catch yourself on the ceiling. Like, it's probably gonna happen. Whoops.
She'll say, I trust that it works, but maybe 600 bars in, well, whatever gold that is.
Lot.
He would smile, or the handsome Misray would smile down at that and say, "My dear, for what reason would I be knocking off the 50 bars? Usually I only give discounts to those who are kind to me."
Well, maybe I can vouch for the veracity of your shop when I head back south. I don't know, people might need provisions like these before they go up to Mount Archelon and their pilgrimage.
Oh, the mountain. From where have you come down south, my dear?
Phandalin, it's quite near Neverwinter.
Neverwinter. You are an exotic one. 600 bars. Agreeable. And he'd hold out his hand.
I assume that's alright in gold money.
Yep.
Yeah, she'd shake his hand.
Yeah, and as you shake the hand, you pass through the handsome dark-skinned hand, and you can feel underneath quite an elderly, quite delicate hand underneath as you shake it.
Sweet.
Yeah, ring a jumping, baby. I'll remove it from the shop. Anything else for anyone else? Natalie, are you finished with your calculations?
Yeah, I can't afford everything, but I can afford. I'm just debating whether to get rid of anything. No, I think that's a good amount. I'll just put it in the chat. Because I think because I realised I had a lot less money than I thought, and Hannah said it was okay for me to borrow more money from Atala. So in total, I can afford all of this.
Amazing. Atala isn't here, is she?
No, but she would have known it before, I imagine, right?
No. It's not for that. I wondered if Atala would be interested in one of the spell scrolls of Dream.
I am, but I'm not there.
And also, before... Well, you guys haven't said you're leaving yet. Cool. So, Natalie, if you want to take the gold away and add those ingredients. They won't be with you yet in-game. It's 2 hours, but there's nothing that's going to stop that happening. So you can start adding those to your inventory.
I've got 143 gold left.
Oh, baby! feel like a level 3 chump.
Yeah.
But whoever's in the shop, Mizrae would do her very best in multiple different guises. She seems to have the full spectrum of different personas that she takes great delight in playing. And you'd probably note that the amount of times, how often she changes, and the other magical elements of the shop, she's probably quite a powerful sorceress. But she would do her best to try and convince people, probably not Bungo, she's seen how much he's spent already, to take a look at the White Dragon Scale Mail, protect you from the cold, and the Jade Ring of Resistance, which protects your mind, gives you resistance to psychic damage. Blam Wolfhorn. But yeah, she would do her best to convince you, but you're all seasoned adventurers. I'm not going to roll for anything, but if anyone wants anything, just let me know.
Does she have any, like, I don't know, metal or wooden tokens with dwarfy things on it? She might be like, that's cool. I guess I'll get that for Elodius.
As you look round, the place is covered. There are no empty shelves. Like, everything is covered. There are coins, there are medallions, there are pocket watches, there are hourglasses. There's little clockwork bits and pieces that look like they were probably gnomish in make, but have since been gilded to look in line with the rest of the shop. There are fabrics, there are flags, there are silks, there are feathers, colourful feathers, like all sorts of bits and pieces.
Would she be able to find like a token of Hanseath?
Of what?
He's the god of drinking in dwarven culture. Because Elodius probably mentioned it, and she's like, oh, I better get that, so he thinks I'm listening to him.
I think, yeah, absolutely. And I think Mizrae probably wouldn't have it just as a little token. I think it'd probably be like a novelty, like miniature-sized golden stein.
Well, she'd definitely get it if it was that. So
with the symbol on it.
Yeah.
And she, with your purchase that you made, being a large purchase, she'd say it's complimentary.
She's like, thank you.
Of course, my dear. Please, just take great joy in it, and that's all the thanks I need.
Would if Bungo asked if they had any platinum rings, would they have any in stock?
100%.
Would he be able to try and bargain to buy 3 worth 50 gold pieces for 143 gold pieces?
That bargaining wouldn't be an issue at all. You did already have some platinum. Didn't everyone have platinum rings?
They do, but Sandrau does not, and neither does
Tala.
Oh wait, so I need to buy 2.
Grace.
Or Grace, that's a good point. Yeah, I think he would just buy 2 though. I don't think he knows Grace well enough yet.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, just for 100 gold pieces then.
With everything you've already bought, again it would be complimentary.
Oh wow, okay. Thank you. And he'd give them to Atala and Sandrau.
Cool. You each have a platinum ring. Yeah, no, you get the feeling Mizrae is quite enjoying having such eclectic group. And Bungo, your passive insight's like 17 or something stupid, right?
15.
15. Okay. You get the feeling, as you're talking to this person, that she'd probably be quite a good little starting point for if there was to be any like Lyra-based stuff here, because she just seems to have absolute joy in everything she's doing, and is trying to like instill that joy in those she's speaking to and trying to sell things to.
I will come back to that, but I've got a million things to write down.
Of course! Blamethea, are we buying the ring? You gonna become Super Saiyan?
How much is it?
It is. This is my own stupid fault for putting everything in bars. So that times 5. 1560 times 5. Just shy of 8,000 gold.
That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
I can't
thought
lend you
bars
any,
were
I'm
fine.
sorry.
Hmm.
Sorry, Atala?
I thought the bars were worth 5 each.
They are.
Yeah.
1560 times 5.
Hmm.
7,800.
I don't have that much money.
You could try and bargain if you like.
No.
She is an old lady who seems to live alone in this shop. You're a handsome man! But yeah, fair enough.
Do it, no shame.
Or you could rob her. That would be an interesting twist for the campaign. And no one's interested in the White Dragon scale mail?
Can't afford it.
No one's falling for that.
Well, all you said is that it keeps you warm.
It does cool stuff. Scale.
Yeah.
Alright, good you fucking hell. It's,
cool stuff.
Fucking money back over there.
it's +1 scale mail. You have advantage on all saving throws against frightful presence and breath weapons of any dragons. And you have resistance to the dragon's damage type, so it's white dragon, so it's cold. Additionally, you can focus your senses as an action to magically discern the distance and direction to the closest dragon of your type of armor within 30 miles of you. This special action can't be used again until the next dawn. So you go, and then if there's a white dragon within 30 miles, you know how far it is from you and what direction it's in.
It's pretty good.
Very good, hence the price tag.
Going up a big cold mountain.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. That can't be right.
Is scale mail, which I believe is medium? Might be heavy.
Yeah, but it's weird in my proficiencies. Apparently I have it in all 3.
Yeah, because
That sound
you
right?
multi-class into cleric.
Yeah.
Oh, what? You adopt...
Yeah, you
Yeah.
get some proficiencies from that, yeah.
Yeah, dipping cleric's real good.
Oh, in all 3. Oh, snap. Wow. Well, I did the math. I'm pretty sure I could afford it.
Of course you could. You sold that fucking thing for like 30,000 gold pieces in campaign 1.
Does it need a tuning?
It does. And it also gives disadvantage on stealth rolls.
Oh, well.
But you are going up the side of a mountain, you have to wonder how much stealthing you're really going to be doing. But also, how cool would Grey look in fucking white dragon scale mail? So funny.
I think I'll pass.
Yeah, more than fair. Is that all business?
I'm trying to...
Mizraim?
Oh, there it is.
I've almost finished putting all these items in.
Oh.
Nicely done.
Can I ask what the Scroll of Hold the Monster is? Or Science?
Yeah. So Hold Monster, I think, is a 5th, maybe more level spell. Is 5th. Choose a creature that you can see within range. The target must succeed on a Wisdom saving throw of 15, because it's a spell scroll, or be paralyzed for the duration. This spell has 1 minute. This spell has no effect on undead. At the end of each of its turns, the target can make another Wisdom saving throw. On a success, the spell ends on the target. What's quite cool about it is that it's any creature, as long as it's not undead. So it can be used as a very expensive hold person if you needed to. But it can also work on big monsters, what have you, as long as they're not undead. It's 5th
More
level.
Silence?
Silence is 1st or 2nd level. And it creates a small area where sound can't go. Second level, 10-minute duration, 20-foot radius sphere. For the duration, no sound can be created within or pass through a 20-foot radius sphere centered on a point you choose within range. Any creature or object entirely inside the sphere is immune to thunder damage, and creatures are deafened whilst entirely inside it. Casting a spell that includes a verbal component is impossible whilst in the sphere. It is a cleric spell as well.
Let me do some math. What was it? So each bar is 5 gold?
Mm-hmm. Times by 5. Had to go for the authenticity.
Did Blam buy the ring in the end? I can't remember.
No, too much money.
You didn't.
Ah.
Expensive.
Yeah. This is the most expensive shop. This is fucking Forge Fire's shop. Everybody's rich, right?
You gotta look at my alms box on my character sheet when you're done, Tom. It's so glorious. Got all my spell components.
That's awesome.
I think I'll pass.
No worries. Is that all the shopping done at Forge Fire's Fanciful Finds?
They wouldn't be up for buying anything, would they?
You could ask her.
Yeah, she could ask.
Miss Ray would be intrigued. Probably turn into the hawkish, dour, middle-aged man with the black ponytail. Show me what you have.
She'd show him the +1 rapier, and she'd be like, "Well, I can also, if you just gave me some of the gold back I gave you for this, then I guess that'd be less work for you in the long run."
Weapons are so violent. It is quite nice to look at. If you can find a good place in my shop where you think it would look part of the theme, I'll buy it from you.
Yeah, okay, I'll think of... She would look for a bunch of places. She'd look for things of dwarven gods that have like like dwarven tokens of dwarven gods.
Interesting.
And then mainly martial ones, and try and fit it in somehow so it looks like it's pointing at like a suit of armor or something like that.
That's cool. Go ahead and roll. You choose a skill for me that you think's appropriate.
I'll do religion because of what I said.
Cool. Go ahead and roll advantage because of your description. Yeah. You find a great spot. Mizray has taken great joy in this little game and has turned around and covered her eyes. And she says, "Ready?"
Yes, I think so.
She spins round, beholds your display, places both hands on her chest as turns into a colourful, long, red, fiery-haired, young, looks like elven woman, slight of frame and in a flowing red dress to complement her hair, and just says, "It's beautiful. Thank you so much."
Well, I tried. That's all one can do.
She turns back into the old lady. "I never had much skill with the war themes. It's all very boring, people hitting each other with sticks, but you've done a very good job. Thank you." And she hands over, what was it, a +1 rapier? Is that what it was?
It was, yeah.
Let's...
Here's the bars, lassie.
See you, nerd! No, you already took care of that 'cause she was smart and said, "Take it out of the money I paid you."
I enjoyed how high pitched her voice was. And
I'm trying. +1 rapier. +1 weapon. So, yeah, she's taken quite a liking to Sandrel. She'd give you 1,000 gold.
Nice. She'd take that.
Cool. Anything else from anyone else?
I think so.
Cool. You leave the shop, I assume,
Mm-hmm.
to find Gildred smoking what looks to be a solid gold pipe outside, puffing away.
Solid gold, Jesus.
Yep.
Gangster.
And as you come out, he's like, "Ow!" as the heated tobacco inside has heated the gold metal, and he has to empty it onto the ground and shove it in his pocket. It's like,
Worth it.
got to figure out how to make that work. Right, if you're all done, I hope you enjoyed Mizra's company. She's an acquired taste, some would say, but I always find she brightens up my day.
She was very, very unique.
Yes, she prides herself on that, I think. Well, I'm afraid if you want to take a last glance around, I will have to escort you back to the surface city.
Can Sandrel do an insight check on why he's very insistent of getting us in and out?
You can. Oh, that 19 would have been pretty interesting.
I imagine Sandrel's just got a ring and she's like, yeah.
Jump in, baby. Yeah, with a 6, I mean, Gildred seems to wear his heart on his sleeve. He does seem, as you say, he seems insistent. You get the feeling from the guards out front, and you would have also noticed coming down that he's had to wave away some dwarven guards who sort of bristled as you all came down the stairs. Seems like things are run pretty strictly around here in Mirabar, and that especially the overlap between the two halves of the city is quite strictly policed. Yeah. But yeah, he leads you back up. Your next destination. For Tala, you went straight to the temple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think perhaps let's head over to you now.
Okay.
You make your way to the temple. It is it matches the rest of the city. It's quite a simple affair. Worked stone. The outside is actually quite blank and bare. There are spaces for windows. It's not stained glass. It's quite simple, but it lets a lot of light in. And as you head inside, you notice that there's 2 guards at the doors, though they look very bored. Inside, there's there's like seating in different arrangements. There's some tables with chairs gathered around. There's an altar at the front, again left sort of blank, not decorated with any one deity's sigils or symbols, and a plain white cloth is draped over the altar itself. It seems like you're free to enter and do as you please in this space.
Oops, sorry.
Right.
Sorry?
Interesting. Is there anyone else inside, or is it just empty?
I think you'd notice that there are and this is a single story with the roof above. You would notice that there are some people at worship. There are a few dwarves who seem to be stacked and are holding an emblem that you can't see as it's clutched in their fist, but they're sat around a table holding the emblem and seem to be muttering almost like a little prayer circle to each other. In terms of sort of oversight of the building, I'd say there's sort of a caretaker brushing a broom across the floor in the space. It's sweepy. No, it's not.
Crazy
but just very plainly dressed human woman, just
Human woman.
cleaning. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, Atala wants to see how many Basically, she just wants to learn symbols. So as many symbols as she can see. Obviously, most of it's blank because it's a for everyone thing, as you say.
Mm-hmm.
But so she's going to be keeping her eye on the people that are actually worshipping and try and catch an eye on what symbols they have.
Mhm.
And when they stop doing what they're doing, she's going to go and ask who they worship and note it down.
That's fine. Yeah. It's not long before they do. It seems like they were towards the end of their prayers. So are you just watching or are you approaching?
She'll watch until they finish, and then she'll pray.
Okay. As they finish and they take their hands away, now I believe the symbol of Dumathoin.
You,
Yeah, your boy. It's the gem, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so it's the gem beneath the mountain. So their crest would be a very clear cut. With these dwarves, it would probably actually be an embedded gem. Looks to be, I'd say, probably a clear gem, embedded in a silver amulet with the mountain motif going over the gem itself.
Okay. So she's going to draw a little picture of that in her notebook
Mhm.
and ask them who that is that they worship. So Dumathoin, she'll write that down.
Yeah. So I'd say there's 4 of them. 2 of them look to be younger. The other 2 older. Looks like they might be a family. Mother, father, and 2 children. Is there any particular person you would direct your question to?
Probably mother.
Okay. So you direct your question to the mother, and the mother looks up, though I know not too far because Atala's quite short, but looks up at you and says, "Well, a good day to you. Might I ask why you're inquiring?"
I'm just curious outside folk. I'm just curious about what deities lie in the heart of Mirabar. I was also wondering maybe if you could, if you had any spare of those emblems. You know, if not, that's fine. I was just curious.
She gives you quite a long look. She's not narrowing her eyes. She's not frowning, but there's a moment of sort of cogs turning in her head. The father stood there with his hand on the shoulder of each of the children. She says, "Right, so you're not from around here then?"
Oh no, much more south than here. I mean, I see you have human. They dwarves, aren't they? Dwarves.
They are dwarves, yeah.
Yeah. So I see it's quite unusual to have other races around.
Well, you wouldn't have been to the Undercity. The Undercity is most exclusively for dwarven folk. Up here we have the human citizens of Mirabar. I don't... You're being very honest, right? And just open.
Yeah. Saying it straight out.
Can I see what you've drawn in your book?
Yeah, she holds it up. I'm just a little picture of your emblem. I found it quite fascinating.
She would smile at that. All right. Not a bad eye. Here, take mine. And she'd remove the pendant that she has round her neck and hand it over to you.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, I can pay you for it if that's something you want.
No, I wouldn't want to cheapen this. Dumathoin is patron of us dwarven folk. I'm not sure what you want with him, but I believe it would be wrong of me not to to reward a bit of interest in good dwarven culture.
My husband is of the priestly nature, and I'm sure he'd be curious as well. Just interest in education, as it were.
It's commendable. Is he dwarven?
No, he's a halfling.
A halfling?
Mm-hmm.
We,
He worships Lyra. Have you heard of her?
no. Is she a halfling deity?
Oh, I don't know. Is she?
Not exclusively, no. But often worshipped by halflings, I think, in the way we've done Lyra.
Yeah.
Well, I know she's not, but she is the goddess of joy, so I'm sure that should really be of interest to you. If you were to ever wanted to learn.
She'd kind of smile a little bit at that and kind of flap her hand at you like, oh, stop. It's like, oh, that sounds much too frivolous for us now. Come along, we've got a busy day ahead, but my dear, if you have any questions, you can always ask the custodian here, and she'd nod towards the woman cleaning. She's very knowledgeable about all things matters of religion.
Well, thank you. Do you come here often? Do you see many more religious folk come through here that do not worship Dumathorn?
We dwarves like our privacy, so there tends to be a natural separation of people. Everyone has their schedule, if you like, working around the 10-day. This is when we come up. In 10 days' time, we'll be here again. It's important to be diligent, I think, in the eyes of the gods.
Well, that's good to know. I'm sorry for holding you up on your daily duties, then.
No, it was quite an exotic experience, but yes, please do speak to the custodian. Humans can be useful when they really put their mind to something. Come along, dears. You'd kind of turn around and bustle her family out of the doors.
Yeah. Nice to meet you. She'll wander
The
off.
wave.
Is this Hannah's last revenge on Osdred by imprisoning Dumathoin in the cube?
Never.
Great, it means I could send Angel Osdred back down as an angel of vengeance.
No, it's just part of my experimentation of the box.
No.
I love it. I love the science.
So are there any more people in here that are not worshipping Dumathorn?
Not at the moment, no, because
Not
you
at the
guys are quite early on in the day.
Okay.
It's quite empty. It's just the custodian sweeping.
Probably go and just ask the custodian. Probably just a couple of questions about Dumathorn. Like, what kind of alignment does Dumathorn have? Just basic stuff.
Yeah, just about Dumathorn.
Yeah, just brief. She'll write it down in a little notebook.
Yeah, she'd you'd see she takes a lot of satisfaction in her sort of dispensing of knowledge. Gives you a proper rundown. I believe Dumathorn is true neutral.
Is he? Pretty lawful.
Pretty sure he's true neutral, lawful neutral.
Yeah, I think it's true neutral. So he's a true neutral.
Yeah, true neutral.
True neutral deity. Patron of shield dwarves. I think Atala would have read enough to know about the difference between shield dwarfs in the north and gold dwarfs in the south. And all about mining and exploration underground. Was known as the Keeper of Secrets Under the Mountain. I'm literally reading off the wiki page.
Okay.
Protector of the Dwarven Dead.
And then she'd probably just ask if normally anyone else that comes in in this day, or in the near, time future.
Mhm.
In the same day, obviously. That worship something else other than Numahoin, or how regularly they see some other religions.
She'd say that she sees a great mix of deities worship here in the church, particularly from the humans. There's a huge variety. She'd say that the humans' worship is a lot more sporadic and often seems to be accompanied by a crisis. So they'll come in looking in a state and be pleading for sanctuary or safety from their deity or what have you. Whereas the dwarven worship, the culture seems to be a lot more rigid and regular, and it's just a part of their normal lives. They're there every 10-day, on the dot, turning up, and that predominantly the worship is aligned towards Dumathoin or Moradin.
Okay. And she'd probably ask if they remember any emblems she can probably jot down and to go with some names.
Yeah, I think with Moradin, it's the hammer and anvil.
Oh, yeah.
Or anvil with a flame.
She would probably ask if she could see any of the emblems anywhere, or
anvil with a flame.
Yeah,
anvil with a flame on top. Thank you.
Lovely.
Whether she could see what?
Whether they had any examples of different emblems or anything like they bring out for a particular reason, or
Yeah, do a persuasion check for me.
Oh, you guys missed the Fardhar dwarf worshipper. There's one in Cormyr, the weird guy about the raptors.
We were never doing that quest, on principle. They don't exist. No, they don't exist, Kieran. There's no such thing as intelligent raptors.
Like Gaven in Warhammer.
They've killed everything at the castle. They now
That's
rule
amazing.
Cormyr.
Yeah, they work for Darien now.
Yeah, Atala, with that persuasion roll, you've been quite charming in your speaking to this woman, and as you ask about the symbols, she would actually ask you to wait and sort of disappear into a door that you didn't note before, but is worked into the stone, so it's kind of like secret, like a hidden door. She steps through, and within a minute comes back with what looks like a scrapbook. So rather than a published tome, it's a wire-bound scrapbook full of symbols and brief descriptions of different deities. The woman would say that this is something that she's been working on for a long time. She's always been interested in the gods themselves, has moved around a lot during her life and kind of witnessed different types of worship and things like that. And this is kind of the culmination of a lot of her work. She'd say she's not willing to part with it,
no.
but that if you wanted to sit with it for a bit and copy some into your book, you're free to do so.
Definitely gonna do that. Oh man, well this is perfect. What a hobby. What an interest.
It's never boring. Just when you think you've gotten your 50th Moradin worshipper in, some strange, exotic person will turn up with a strange ritual set out in front of them. You know, it's fascinating how people connect with these deities that influence us, but so often we can't see or touch them.
No, it's only on those rare instances. Oh wow, this is amazing though. If you don't mind, I would like to just copy a few.
Of course, I've got plenty more cleaning to do. If you want to take a seat anywhere, I'm happy for you to do so.
Yeah, So she will sit down and just copy a bunk.
Amazing. Very cool. With that, we'll jump back. I believe we were heading to Sunderston Expeditions.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I
Hell yeah,
don't have any
baby.
fucking money left now, but
Well, part of going to Sunderston Expeditions is the free shit.
oh yeah, true. Yeah, I want to go Sunderston's Expeditions now.
Excellent. So as you head sort of back towards the gate that you came in through, you see a larger building, or really 3 long buildings that seem to have been worked together. It's an extended store encompassing multiple stone buildings, and as you come around to the front and you can see inside, you can see that it extends through them all. They've been knocked through, so they all function as one big building together. The Sunderston logo, same as on the Sunderstone Inn, is proudly engraved across each of the buildings, and small flags adorn many of the shelves and surfaces within. The tone of the store, as you sort of rock up to the front of it and see people bustling about inside, and it's quite busy, is one of practicality and good quality. So you head in?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As you head in, you see that each of the buildings has a distinct theme to it. There is a clothing section, a tools section, and a section for arms and armor, which is the smallest section towards the back. Inside, you see a number of potential customers and patrons milling about, inspecting things and discussing. You see a number of what can only be described as shop assistants or clerks within the shop itself, wearing a tabard bearing the Sunderston logo of the Cracked Mountain once more. I have added to your journal the Sunderston Expeditions shop handout. I'm showing it to you now. So if you'd like to peruse, if there's anything in particular you'd like, let me know.
Oh boy.
Do we have cold weather clothing already or not?
We do,
I
I think.
can't-
You already
Yeah.
do have warm weather, cold weather clothing,
Oh.
yeah.
Definitely get the climbers kit.
Certainly could.
How much did we're getting for free? Sorry, my brain is like blanking.
No, that's fine. So if you were to speak to, well, as you walk through the shop, you'd see these clerks helping out different people, but you'd see there's one that's kind of hanging back and largely overseeing everything else. You'd also notice a bit of a family resemblance to the barkeep at the Sunderstone
Ooh,
Inn.
interesting.
You head towards her, and she would pick you out immediately and move over to you. She'd introduce herself as Gildry Marblebrow, sister of Eris Marblebrow, the barkeep at the inn. Very professional in tone, comes across very knowledgeable and good at her job. You kind of note as well, anyone who has a decent passive perception would notice that she has the beginnings of essentially a copy of some of the jewelry, piercings, and hairstyle that Verenia was wearing the night before.
What was her name
but-
again?
Gildry Marblebrow. Gildri. Marblebrow.
Thank you.
And she would thank you for coming so early, and she would direct you to the back of the store off to the side where a Sunderston expedition pack has been put aside for every one of you. So that includes for each of you a climber's kit, a miner's pick, crampons, and an explorer's pack, all wrapped up in one neatly ordered Sunderston Expeditions backpack.
Nice.
Pretty.
So if you want to add a backpack, and then inside the backpack you can put climber's kit, miner's pick, crampons, explorer's pack. Usually to the value of 35 gold each. She would notice that you're wearing cold weather clothing already, but offer you further fur lining or switching into the cold weather clothing that they make here in Mirabar with the Sunder Cold guarantee, which you probably notice is better quality than your stuff, but if you prefer your stuff, feel free to keep it. And she would also have a month's worth of tightly packed rations for each of you. So that is... So Grace wasn't mentioned, and Grace's group wasn't mentioned, so it's just the Good Barrels, Grey, Blam, and Sandral. That's 5 of you for 30 days, so it's 150 rations, trail rations. And she would tell you that it will all be packed into a wagon, which will be drawn by a draft horse, which will be ready by your leave at the northwest gate for when you wish to head on.
Okay.
Hang on. So many things to add.
I'm not going to take the Explorer's kit because I can't actually carry it.
No worries.
I've
I
got...
think Grace would carry it for you if you said that there was something that you wanted to take with you that you couldn't carry.
Oh no, I think I've got most of the stuff in there anyway, so...
Okay.
But thank you.
Yeah, she'd probably offer to see if there was any baggage anyone wanted to put on the wagon.
I've been like shoving shit in my Hewitt's handy haversack and it's pretty much full.
We need bags of holding. Make it happen, DM.
I don't just give these things out. You gotta
Yes, you
find
do.
stuff.
Yeah.
Give us bags. Give us bags.
If I were to ask about the effectiveness of these Boots of the Winterland, is that as in chances are there'll be a lot of difficult terrain and these may help deal with that? Something along those lines? Yeah?
Yeah. I assume you've read about the item?
Just a little description there, no better footwear.
Oh, no. You get resistance to cold damage.
Oh.
You ignore difficult terrain created by ice or snow. You can tolerate temperatures as low as minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit, which is even lower, without any additional protection. So you could literally wear your normal clothes and then the boots would keep you warm. If you wear heavy clothes on top of the boots as well, so your cold weather clothing, you can tolerate temperatures as low as minus 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
Cool.
So yeah, they're very effective. They do require attunement though.
I was waiting for that.
Ooh, I didn't see the arms and armor section.
Oh
Fuck
yeah,
it.
baby.
I'll have a Boots of the Winterlands, please.
Hell yeah, baby. Good choice.
I have throat carver, yeah.
You want to ask about throat carver?
No.
What-
Relic.
in this- was it in this shop they're happy to take coin? Not
Yes.
just,
Yep. Glass preferred, but other coinage accepted on discretion of the head clerk, and the head clerk knows that you guys are in the Veronia's good book, so you're fine.
So did I do the math right? Is that 6,000 gold?
Tis. Yeah, that's a very, very good choice. Especially for Grey.
That's what
Yeah.
I thought.
Cannot carry shit, so... or afford shit. I've got 143 gold, why am I even looking?
So good.
My God, really. Talking about their ice picks, or do the miners and the war pick count as ice picks?
They would count, yeah. Telling me Sandral isn't even going to ask about throat carver.
Well,
It looks very cool.
she would ask about it.
Yeah. Well,
When the boots say
settle in.
Oh. if you wear heavy clothes, is that as in the warm clothes that we have?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Minus 100, which is minus 73 Celsius. It's insane. It's ridiculously fucking cold. So, upon asking about Throatcarver, one of the clerks, who looks to be a teenage dwarven boy with thick bottle glasses and buck teeth,
Oh no!
and
Oh no! I know where this is
introduces
going.
introduces himself as Ulf Ulfson. Begins to tell you about the great weapon Throatcarver. So, might even take us up to the end of the fucking session. I'm so glad I got you to ask. Badgered you into it. So, let me share this with everyone. It's pretty cool. Ulf Ulfson's not cool, but the subject of the story is cool. So, in your journals now under Mirabar Learning Local Law will be Great Gelda the Gasp Taker.
Oh, she's cool.
Yeah. So, as far as we know, Gelda Snowcrag, or sorry, I should do Ulf Ulfson's
I was
voice.
gonna say.
As far as we know, Gelda Snowcrag. I'm not doing that the whole time. It's too long. Gelda Snowcrag was born to the humble Snowcrag family of hunters in 1159 DR. Mirabar at the time relied heavily on food from capable hunters, and Gelda took to her family's trade with great dedication. By all accounts, she took swiftly to the tools of the huntsman, and before long was considered the premium hunter in Mirabar and the surrounding locale. Fortunately, or unfortunately depending on your point of view, hunting was never quite enough for Gelda. Once a beast had been conquered, she found no thrill in repeating the act day after day. Challenge was what she craved, and so Gelda sought out larger and larger creatures to take to the axe and crossbow. Like-minded folk were drawn to Gelda as she transitioned from simple hunter to an experienced slayer of monsters, and soon she had a small following. During this period of history, in no small part helped by Gelda's hunting days, Mirabar had been enjoying a period of peace and prosperity. With a steady supply of food, the dwarven population was booming. With more dwarves came more mining, with more mining came more wealth, but with more wealth came more attention, more danger. The eyes of a particularly greedy frost giant chieftain were firmly set on the burgeoning city of Mirabar. Gelda herself didn't consider giants or other sapient creatures within her realm of monster hunting, but once the first few raids had left dwarven bodies broken and bloodied across the snow, she knew she had no choice. Needing no honeyed or desperate words from the Mirabar folk and denying all claims of compensation, Gelda sallied forth with her hunting crew in tow with a short, barked proclamation. Mirabar breath and blood has been stolen in the name of greed. I will tear the last gasp from this beast's throat, and I will spill his crimson blood across the white snow. For Mirabar, we will break them. Not much is known of Gelda's fated expedition. Her crew disappeared north into the Spine of the World mountains. Weeks passed, many in Mirabar grumbled about big words shadowing failed deeds. But after the third week, a lone figure emerged from the driving snow. Covered in crimson, wounds adeptly bandaged, with fur and pelt, Gelda stood triumphant at the gates of Mirabar and cast down the head of Thrum Twice Turned, reddening the snow just as she had claimed. Those present said that even the howling wind stopped and the driving snow held place in the air as perfect silence observed the stout dwarf holding her axe aloft. 2, maybe 3 heartbeats passed before a single word broke the moment as an earthquake sunders the land. Greta herself, thunderous in tone, that should be Gelda, cried, "Mirabar!" And so one of Mirabar's legends was born. Great Gelda the Gasp Taker, with her trusted axe now aptly named Throatcarver. Mirabar has never been touched by giant kind since, though around dying hearthfires in the small hours of the night, many wonder if they are simply biding their time, assembling some great vengeance to cast down from the mountains upon our city. Who knows? All I do know is that many a young starry-eyed child has felt the tug of adventure as they plead for their parents, their grandparents, or anyone who will, to tell them once more the story of Great Gelda the Gasp Taker.
Hey.
So yeah, Thandral is cornered by Ulf Ulfson and told this story in great detail and with great exaggeration.
I feel like Batista needs to hire Ulf Ulfson.
So it's It's magical.
Not just magical, it's Throat Carver! And he'd gesture up above him in a gesture of worship. It's a powerful giant slayer great axe. Some say the spirit of Gelda still lives within the axe and will come to those worthy enough to wield it.
How much would it be, or is it priceless?
It is priceless. Gildry says that any loaning of Throat Carver to worthy heroes has to be dealt with through Verenia. But it's never happened in my time here.
What about him? And she points at Blam.
As he looks over to Blam, sparkles in his eyes, he'd say, "Wow, by Dumathoin, that is quite the hero."
Sandra's trying to slink away while he's distracted.
I can hear the boner in his voice.
I think at that point, Ulfson would run over to Gildry and just be gesticulating wildly towards Blam. And Gildry would approach you, Blam, and say, "Excuse me, sir." Blamathy, are you there? Was the shopping episode killed George?
He's probably fallen asleep while shopping on eBay.
I hope he found some good stuff. That's fine. We can come back to that. Is there any other purchases that anyone would like to make?
Yes, but I don't have any money. It's okay, I can cast cool spells.
As you know, obviously Grace is meant to be really well informed. Is there anything that that you know that she would think of as like an essential thing she would need to take with her, or that would be good to take with her?
She would have her own stuff in terms of climber's kit and all that stuff. So if you want to add that to her inventory, feel free.
Okay.
She wouldn't be buying it. She'd have her own cool stuff for that. In terms of what's here, none of the arms and armor would interest her. But she would think that the cloak could be very useful. Cloak of the Hearthstone.
How much does it cost?
It costs 800 bars, which in outsider money is 4,000 gold.
Bloody hell. No, maybe not.
How much money does Grace have?
Well, she has 500 Electrum, but... Wait, no. No, she doesn't. I tell a lie. She has 40 Platinum, 500 Gold, 25 Electrum, 40 Silver, and 200 Copper. So, nope.
Yeah, not quite.
I got confused.
But you could inform the others that it might be a worthwhile purchase.
Nah, she wouldn't ask the other people for money.
Yeah, fair enough.
But thank you.
That's alright, that's a good question. Sorry, I'm just adding some of the lore that you guys would pick up from people being around.
Can
The
Bungo...
Axe of Mirabar. Yep.
Bungo wants to ask like one of the shopkeepers in this place, just saying if they've heard about anything about any barges going missing. Because those workers were talking about it.
Right. Who's he asking? Gildry?
Yeah.
Or Ulfson?
Not Ulf Ulfson. Fucking hate Ulf Ulfson.
Come on! Ulf Ulfson's got his ear to the fucking grapevine or whatever it is. Yes, Gildry would. She knows that you are in Verenia's good books. You're a valued customer. She'd say that yes. The barges are a really important part of Mirabar's commerce with Luskan and other cities. You know, the exports all need to go down the coast, and the best way to do that isn't by caravan, it's by barge. You can carry so much more.
Mm-hmm.
And she would say that over the past, I think it's over the past 10 day, the last 3 major barges have gone missing. Seemingly all hands lost, all cargo sunk to the riverbed, and that there's no explanation for it at the moment, and that there's talk of a bounty being put out for willing adventurers, willing people to help deal with the issue, and that anyone interested should talk to Klein Longcloak or Gwenria Gwensdottir.
Klein Longcloak. Or who, sorry?
Gwenria Gwensdottir. She's
Yeah.
the woman that you
Mhm.
saw Gildred speaking to, and Klein is the owner of the potion shop that you haven't been to yet.
Okay. You was just
Cool.
curious.
No worries.
I don't think I've got anything more to buy here, but I do.
George said he got cut off, but he wants that axe bad.
Yeah, baby. Then we will begin next week's session with Blam speaking to Gildry about that axe.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
That axe is my favourite part of my planning I've done for this campaign so far.
Just knew it was that guy. Guy from the shop. No.
It's way better than my axe. My axe got nerfed 5 times in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank
Well
you, Tom.
played,
That was really
one
fun.
and all. I hope you're enjoying Mirabar.
I'd love a shopping session.
Yeah.
Look at
In my
look at my arms box. Don't look how organised.
oh no,
it
yeah, I
is.
do need to. In my original campaign plan, I was like, they're just gonna breeze past Mirabar. It's not even gonna be a thing. Then when we got to the inn, I was like, they're gonna want to go into Mirabar properly.
Oh, definitely. I had a lot of shit to buy.
I wanted some racism. I wanted him like, get out here, you Hume scum.
The lady in the church was on the fence, but because Atala was being so just like open and straight, which the lady valued, and also honestly because Atala's really short, closer to dwarven kind.
I think she's on the
that
same
she-
height as most dwarfs, isn't she?
Yeah, she stayed in that lady's good books.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys had tried to like fuck around in the Undercity or whatever, that would have been real bad. But
It's
you was well
okay.
behaved.
I can cast Raise Dead and Revivify twice again.
Hell yeah! We like to hear.
Gonna need
I'm
it.
so
That
glad.
sounds bad.
So glad you bought those boots, Steph. I put them there. I was like, anyone could buy them. They're really good on anyone, but I really hope
Did you have
Steph
just the one
gets them.
pair?
It's just the one pair, yeah. But I really hope Steph gets in first, because
I thought I'm gonna need some advantage because this sounds so fucking
yeah,
sketchy.
there's a lot of anti-mobility stuff going on.
I imagine so.
Sandral's just gonna be jumping like in Shoot Again.
So good.
There's lots of good
Got all our
spells I can
fucking
cast
abilities.
now.
That arms box is hilarious. Can you imagine being a bandit and just being like,
Yeah.
don't bother with the arms box, Steve. Arms box is where they get like coppers and shit thrown in. It's just like diamond, 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 diamond. Platinum ring, jeweled horn. Amazing.
I might just, before I forget, do a quick trade with either Atala or Sandral.
Mm-hmm.
What are they like in terms of attuned items?
She has at the moment Braces Defense, which is just Monk, I think. Flame Tongue Rapier, which she got off you, and Ring of Jumping. But free, she's got the Stallion's Band and a Periaptive Wound Closure.
Okay, what's Atala like, Hannah?
Yeah, she's fully attuned to stuff. I suppose I could drop
Okay.
the Rod of Retribution, but
Basically,
That's-
I'm looking
that's
to get
fine.
rid of my Cloak of Protection.
I mean, that's pretty good.
But then there's Grace as well. Grace is going to come along with us, so I don't know what she's like in terms of magical items. Anya? We have an
Sorry, go on. What was that?
Does Grace have much in the way of magical items and immune stuff?
I mean, she has the greatest magical item of all.
Ace.
Love Harry.
Fucking
Damn it, Kieran, you killed my girlfriend. She's got one attunement slot free.
Alright then, well,
Yeah.
if Grace is interested then, would she like a cloak of protection?
Ooh, yes, please.
Feel free.
She'd insist on paying you for it.
Yeah, Grey won't refuse. He won't
How
give
much?
you a price either.
Oh.
Pay whatever you want.
I mean, how much did they cost, Tom?
Yeah, Grace is worldly. She'd know. They cost a lot.
That's helpful.
3,000 gold.
Fuck, maybe she wouldn't take it.
Well, you
But
could,
it's not going to get used, so
yeah,
it'd be wasted.
give him some token money.
Rent it.
Okay.
For every
I'll
week
figure it
you
out.
borrow it off Grey, you have to give him 50 gold.
God.
I owe you. How about that? You ever meet Bahamut? You put in a good word, yeah?
I was wondering if I can do anything cool with my thing, Tom.
Yeah, you could show it off to people.
Oh, okay.
I could, to tell people that that's what I have. I have a reliquary, which is, a platinum scale of Bahamut in a frosteel locket, which gives me some sweet powers, yo.
That's cool. I've got a golden reliquary of Bahamut
Oh, well,
that
I now have an
Jorik
AC
gave
of
me.
4 thanks to this. This bid, no,
Yeah, it's a very powerful item.
yeah.
Mine doesn't do anything apart from letting me cast Summon Celestial, which is a pretty good spell.
Whilst worn and attuned to a devoted cleric or paladin of Bahamut, this item grants a flat +2 AC to the wearer. The locket also provides the opportunity to harness Bahamut's magic in a number of ways. The locket has 5 charges, which refresh on a long rest. These charges can be used for the following abilities. 1 charge. You may use your reaction to grant +5 AC to an ally that you can see within 30 feet. So shield that you can cast on other people.
Very good.
This manifests as the flashing silver shield of scales between the ally and their assailant. The AC bonus lasts until the beginning of the ally's next turn. It is like they cast shield. 3 charges. You may cast Fizban's Platinum Shield using this item, which is a really cool spell from Fizban's Treasury of Dragons. And 5 charges. You may cast Holy Aura using this item, which is a level 8 cleric spell.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's really cool. And we got a poke Anya to remember to use it in combat.
Stop trying to
Oh,
out cleric
remember.
me. I'm the big cleric.
Well, I was thinking about that when the chapter was starting. I was like, Bungo is the big Healy, super Healy life cleric man. I was like,
Oh yeah, it's
how
fine.
how is Grace gonna have her own cleric identity,
Look
but
at
still
me.
be like she's a guardian of people?
I like it.
And I was like, the obvious answer, the other aspect, 'cause you as a character you have HP, Bungo helps with, and then you have AC, which Grace helps with.
I like it a lot. It's very
And
cool.
she's an AC badass as well, because she's got 23 standard AC, like
Mhm.
Mackie.
Mhm.
I am the cleric now.
What did I get, Tom? On the Wonder? I rolled an 8.
What are you doing?
I don't know. Rolled an 8.
Every time we like leave a city for good, just be like, oh, by the way,
I cast Fairy Fire. That's boring.
That is boring. Wonder failure.
I'm gonna roll it again. See what I get.
Oh, Fizban's Platinum Shield is so cool.
I cast Darkness. It's time for bed.
Sixth level Abjuration spell, usually only castable by a sorcerer or wizard, costs a bonus action, concentration up to a minute. You create a field of silvery light that surrounds a creature of your choice within range. You can choose yourself. The field sheds dim light out to 5 feet. While surrounded by the field, a creature gains the following benefits. Constant half cover, so that's +2 AC. The creature has resistance to acid, cold, fire, lightning, and poison damage. If the creature is subjected to an effect that allows it to make a dex save to take only half damage, the creature instead takes no damage if it succeeds on the saving throw and only half if it fails. They get evasion. As a bonus action on subsequent turns, you can move the field to another creature within 60 feet.
Mm.
Don't know about you, but I think
Pretty
that's
good.
really good.
A little bit, yeah.
It's like
Mm.
super tank mode, engaged. If Grace casts that on herself, she has 25 AC.
Jesus.
Ain't no one hitting her.
Grace is a bamf.
She is.
This makes me worried what Tom's gonna throw at us, though.
Oh
Yeah.
god, I can't wait till you get on that fucking mountain.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit worried about Atara and Bungo's mobility on the mountain.
Yeah.
Oh, mobility. Yep.
I'll just use the wand of wonder and
Latch into
summon.
blam.
I'm fully expecting after the first like 10 steps, Bungo to be like, blam, carry me. Like in the swamp. You did
Oh
that
yeah, like Yoda. Forgot about
before.
If
Gray's gonna be
Harry
fucking
please
Legolas
swag
now.
with me.
that.
Now he's got those boots. Gray's just gonna be running along the top of the snow. Fucking Naruto
Bye.
running up the mountain.
It's like Stefan's dream
Yeah, man.
to Naruto run up a mountain.
It's a big fucking
Dream. It's my goal. One day. I'm telling you, one day.
You just,
Just need an even bigger lollipop. Go straight up.
Oh, there's a reference. Jesus.
I'll never forget.
Oh, shit.
That's the closest I've ever come to real life being a cartoon. I'll never
believing,
forget
believing that there is a god.
it. Right. Thank you all.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thanks,
Very well
Tom.
played. I'll see you same time next week.
Bye.
see you later.
Night, everyone.
Bye.